We are good. Right. What is up, guys? It is my pleasure now to welcome the strongest and the biggest guest I'll probably ever have on, ReeceFit. How are you, mate?
All good, man. All good. What an intro. Thank you for the invite, mate. Obviously, I saw that you've been doing these with a fair few of the UK guys. I'm not too sure if that's what you're trying to get into, obviously, with the people you've been getting on. Because obviously I saw you did it with Finn, I know Josh Croggan and stuff like that, which is really cool. So obviously I appreciate the invite and it's a pleasure to be on. So yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah, it's thanks for so much for accepting the invite. And yeah, I'm just doing my dream, talking to you guys, which I've been following for many years. Obviously, you and Finn I've been started to follow at the same time, and much of my current work is based on you guys. Even the Riverside we are on is because once you're in podcast, I saw the Riverside logo on every episodes. So it's cool to have you on. I want to touch up on some recent things because I'm curious how the top level coaches like you and athletes are with a downside relaxation time. And I saw you went on a trip to Madrid, right?
Yes.
How are you dealing with that trips and travel when it comes to managing the job, the gym, coaching? Because I imagine it must be hard to balance it all out.
Yeah. So it's a tricky one because I think as you get deeper into coaching, you get better at dealing with times to switch off. When I was younger, so when I first got into coaching, I remember if I let's say it was 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night and I had one WhatsApp, I'd be I need to reply. And that's a good mindset when it comes to grinding and getting your client base up and providing that service quality. But I feel eventually it gets a little bit negative where I would be someone who if I'm, let's say, driving and some message comes through, I need to get back to it immediately. And I think then that results in a lesser service quality because you end up not actually giving the clients the quality. You're just thinking about efficiency and stuff like that. So obviously I was away in Madrid and Barcelona for 3 to 4 days and then Madrid. Have you ever been to any yourself?
No. I just know the names because of the clubs, every other guy.
Literally, I was the exact same to a certain extent. When I posted up L Clasico, because I was as a kid,
I saw it.
Everyone watches Real Madrid, Barcelona and stuff like that. So,
were you a Barca or Madrid fan?
What'd you say?
Were you a Barcelona or Madrid? What team are you?
I always preferred Ronaldo, to be fair, so probably Madrid, I'd say. What about yourself?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I had just everything was Barcelona,
really?
The t-shirts, backpacks to school, notebooks, the bed sheets, everything was Barcelona.
I feel a lot of the guys in the UK, because Ronaldo played for Man United, I feel they had a bit more of a sweet spot. I knew most of my friends probably preferred Ronaldo, even though, admittedly, I'd say Messi was the far better player. I think it's quite disrespectful how they're even compared. I think Messi is a different level, but I preferred Ronaldo just for watching him, if that made sense.
Yeah. Is the football culture so strong within the gym community? Because I feel every one of you guys is into football. It's by default.
Yeah, I think it's more so not out of the gym community, but I think just in regards to just being in the UK, I played football from such a young age. When I finished school, it was straight to play football. And to be fair, that's what actually got me into going to the gym because I was playing at a decent level and then I just stopped playing football in my spare time because I was playing way too much of Call of Duty and video games and stuff like that. So it was right, Reece, you're getting a bit fat. You need to go to the gym or do something. So that's actually kind of how I got into the gym in a sense. But yeah, going back to obviously what you said about obviously going away. It's one of those where I think you get better with the more time. So usually I'll just end up I'll speak to my clients. Luckily this time of year, there's not really any clients on stage immediately or anything like that. I still do some work. When I was in America towards the back end of 2020, last year, so 2025, I basically said to everybody for a week, I was just leave me alone. It's been a long prep. I had a lot of clients on stage. I was if it's urgent, please speak to me. And for post-prep clients, I still was getting back to. But I was if you're off season, just leave me for a week. But let's say, for example, the holiday I just went on, I still work. I just do my stuff a little bit more efficiently. So anything new, if anyone needs a training plan, I'll get that done beforehand. I'll get people checking a few days earlier. When I'm out there, I try not to go on my phone too much. I'll set myself little work blocks. And luckily, Sanaya, so my fiance, I was about to say girlfriend, but I'd get in trouble if I said that, if she was listening. When it comes to stuff like that, she works as well, online. So it's quite nice. I feel maybe if she wasn't doing the same sort of stuff as I do, it'd be a bit more of a challenge. If she just wants to go out and have a good day and I'm oh, sorry, babe, I've got 2 hours of WhatsApp to get back to. But I think it would be one of those where like we'd set ourselves time, and then when we're out, we don't really go on our phones too much. And then I'll have like an evening block where I'll just do an hour's worth of WhatsApps and stuff like that. But again, it's easier said than done, because I still get to a point where like I don't feel as productive. I landed back in the UK and I had like 65 individual messages on WhatsApp, and I was like, oh, like that's not the service quality that I want to have. But then also you have to live your life, and if I was to only be coaching, I probably wouldn't be doing as well as I would, because I wouldn't even enjoy my job. So yeah.
Do you feel like you have to go through that period that you are messaging, like replying instantly or being overworked, to then set clear boundaries just to grow the business?
I'd say so. I think it depends, because some people, like, realistically, and this is the harsh world we live in when it comes to social media, after like a prep that I went on and did quite well, I could probably not, if I was to have just focused on that and focused on, let's say, doing horrendous reels, you probably could get away with it and get to a decent size income and pretty well with when it comes to the client base if you just look all right. But like, I came from it thinking I want to separate myself as an athlete and also as a coach. So for me, it was like at starting points, and even now to a certain extent, it was like, if I'm not going to put this work in, somebody else will. And I think nowadays, like, you almost have to grind hard enough to the point where you can take a bit of a step back, because effectively everybody's an online coach. You type in online coach on Instagram, anyone who goes to the gym is an online coach, especially in the UK. I'm guessing it's probably similar where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's getting there. Not the UK level, but it's getting there.
Yeah, no, literally, like, I'll have conversations with people, like, luckily in my gym now, like, we don't have that many, which is quite nice, but like, when I was training in more like popular gyms, like where like bodybuilders went to and they drove to, the amount of times that I'd have a conversation with somebody and they'd be like saying, oh yeah, they'd be asking me questions about how to get their first 5 to 10 clients, and they have online coach in their bio, and I'm like, huh? You're not a coach, bro. This isn't a job. This is a bit of just this is a hobby. But yeah, like I said, I think it's one of those where when you start out, I would always say to people, just go all in. Like, it's a bit of a weird analogy, and I don't want to just start spurting out things that are quite cliche, but like, I almost view it as like money in the bank that doesn't come through immediately. So nowadays with life, everybody wants everything immediately. It's the reason why people jump on PDs too early. It's the reason why Uber Eats is so popular, because the second you do something, you just want everything delivered immediately and stuff like that. And I think coaching is one of those where it's so rewardful if you don't view it as an immediate, like, kind of like, so you don't get the results immediately. But when you're doing work at 9, 10, 11 p.m, or you're waking up super early and getting back to people, nobody knows that other than those clients. But that might be good word of mouth. That's just good energy that you're putting into something. And then eventually you'll probably get that back, and it'll be where you go, oh shit, cool. I've got more clients, and you can build up from there.
Yeah, I feel like few years back, it was like a natural transition. Like, you were just training and some guys asked you for help and you were helping them. And then you were like, oh, maybe I'll actually create a job out of it. And now people are like seeing guys like you. Obviously, you have a gym, you have a coaching team. And in their mind, they're like, oh, this is like already the next step. They don't see the 100 steps that come before that. They're like, oh, I just immediately put like say the online coach in the bio. You also have to get some oversized clothes to record yourself. And then it's like, but what about the other steps, like actually learning, getting experience for people? What was like your first coaching, like, let's say, goals when you started? Because now you obviously have 2 coaches outside of it, right? What was like the beginning of the Team ReeceFit?
To be fair, as you said there, like, I was in the gym. I started training when I was like 13, and I was always like the very geeky kid where if I was going to do something, I'm going to go all in with it. Like, I don't want to be in the gym wasting my time. So like, I was watching podcasts and stuff like that. And by the time I was like 15, 16, I was writing up training plans for dudes that were in the gym that were like in their 20s, which, like, if I'm 27 now, if I was to have a 16-year-old come up to me and say, hey bro, can I write you a training plan? I'd be like, what? Like, no, you're 16, bro. Like, and that's probably a bit of ego and stuff like that. But like, I was young, writing up training plans for dudes. I remember I was always playing a lot of FIFA. So I speak about video games again. But like, I was like selling training plans to people either through social media or, let's say, through in the gym for like 20 to 30 pounds. So that could just buy me some packs on FIFA and shit like that. Like, I was just thinking, instead of having to ask my mum or work a shit job, I was like, let me just do this and see if I can just get some money. And there wasn't really much of a goal other than just starting there. And then I got like pretty lean for a holiday. I went to Cuba in 2019. And like, I got like really lean. Like, I probably could have competed like as in junior men's physique. I think I was either 19 or 20. So I was still young. And like, I remember getting loads of messages being like, bro, you've transformed. What have you done? And like, I didn't think it was anything special, because I was just like, oh, I'm just doing the same stuff as I usually do. I just got pretty lean. And then because I was getting so many messages, I was like, I could probably start like just saying to people, I'll help you. And then it was just quite a natural sort of evolution where like when I first started coaching, there wasn't a case of like me thinking I was going to make anything other than just, let's say, helping a few guys out, having some fun with it. And like I was also at uni at the same time, so like it was quite a good, like, not distraction, but I had my uni to kind of focus on. And then I had the coaching as like a bit of a side quest. And I feel like, again, as you said, like nowadays it's like people don't even have like anything to focus on other than coaching, and they're just sat there looking at like their application list and then resenting anything. They're like, why am I not getting leads? And it's like, because you're just focusing on just getting people in. Where I was just like enjoying what I was doing and almost building it up in a more natural way, which I think positively benefited me massively.
Yeah, for a second, I thought you were going to say, like, you were saying training plans to the guys on FIFA you were playing with. that sounded a bit like, yeah.
That would have been good. Imagine, like, they beat me and I'm like, hey, bro, you might have beat me, but are you 220 pounds lean? If not, I can get you there, bro. Link in bio.
Yeah. When was the first time you actually realized that you actually have pretty decent genetics for the sport?
Probably a fair few years before that. Like, I remember I got up to like probably 230 when I was like 16, 17. And granted, that was largely fueled off Dominoes and a lot of like shit food. And I was probably like 40% body fat, but I was like, a lot bigger than the people around me. And like, I remember even when I was like 15, 16, I was training with the same like, group of people. And like, I'd have the older guys in the gym come up to me and they were like, not accusing me of taking PDs or anything, but they were like, how come you're growing way faster than these? And I didn't think much of it other than just like, maybe I push myself harder in the gym. But I always responded like quite well. And I'm quite wide, like my frame's quite wide. So like when I was younger, I always looked older than the people around me. I was always a little bit stronger than them. And then it probably wasn't until I got like, I said, properly lean when I was like maybe 17, 18, 19 after like bulking up in my like young teens, early teens. And I was like, oh, I actually look all right. Like I remember I was like maybe 185, 190, like pretty sliced at like 17, 18, which for a natty was like, all right, like that's not that light. And then I think it was more so a case of like me looking at like my potential, thinking, right, where am I going to take things? And I could see that like, I didn't know, like, I think people probably look at me now and think genetically I'm blessed or whatever, which sounds a bit cringy, but like, I'm really not. It's probably just, I've done this for like 14 years now. And I've been very much on it, like when it comes to me pushing myself as an athlete since I was like very young. And I think you just add that up over years and years with a decent genetic base and you're like, oh, I look all right, I guess, you know?
Yeah, I feel like when we talked to Finn, he described you, when he first saw you, he described you as a triangle. Yeah. Like, that's the word he used. Like, Reece, he's just a triangle, like look, like waist here and the shoulders width is crazy. When did you like move to the place and started to train the same gym as Finn?
So I had a girlfriend that was in Loughborough, so that's obviously where we set up the gym now.
Yeah.
And we were in Pure Gym together because Loughborough, there's no gyms. So I was here for college and then to uni, and Finn was here for uni as well. So we kind of like, we didn't know each other from that. It was more so we knew each other from training in Pure Gym, and he PT out there. And funnily enough, I don't know if Finn mentioned it. I actually probably should listen to the podcast, but like he, his first, like our first ever interaction was him asking one of his clients if he was bigger than me, and they said no.
Oh no,
so,
he didn't.
Yeah. Did he mention this?
No. I mean, he mentioned the PTing part, but not that story.
Yeah, so I was training, and I remember exactly where I was. I was on a cable machine, and I was training in like a Gymshark stringer, like as you do when you're like 19 and you've got okay shoulders. That was it. And I remember like looking over, and like I could see he was in good shape, and he was like probably similar age to me. And when you're younger, I feel like you see anyone who's in good shape, you're like, who the fuck's this guy? So he probably had the same thought of me. And then I could see he basically like pointed at me, but he didn't realize I was like looking over at him, and then like tried to like emulate a pose. And I just was like, is he like copying me or like trying to like make fun of me? So we were both leaving the gym at the same time, and I literally just said to him, I was like, yeah, man, like what was that about? Like earlier, you like pointed over at me, you didn't see me, and like I thought he was like taking the piss out of me. So I kind of like confronted him in a jokey way. Like, I wasn't serious. I was like, what's up with this, bro? And he was like, oh, I was asking the client who's bigger, me or you. And I was like, oh, what'd she say? And she said, you. And I was like, oh, that's cool. It's like, sound, see you later, bro. And then I feel like from that point, like, because there wasn't like any ego or anything, we both were just like, I'd see what he was doing on the dumbbell press. We followed each other on Instagram. I'd then do the dumbbells heavier than him intentionally and send it to him. And then we just had some fun with that. So it was quite a natural sort of like progression. It wasn't where like we saw each other on Instagram and we were like, yo, bro, you want to train? It was like, we both training in the same gym. We both were similar age, doing similar sort of stuff, and then obviously kind of got into it from that.
Yeah, I feel like that's the best way to start like gym friendships. And I think most of the guys I know, it started like, let me record your set, or can you record a set for me? Can you spot me on a specific exercises? And then you just go on. But sometimes I don't know if you had that interactions. You can just speak to people at the gym for years. You don't even know what their name is. They just exist in a gym and not outside of it. And you have like, mate, I've been talking to you for 5 years. I have no clue like what your name is, what your age is, what you are doing, like nothing.
Yeah, literally. Like the good thing is, I think with like Finn and me, we knew each other a bit more on a personal level from that point. But like, if we never had that conversation, like I think we might have spoke once or twice either before or after that. But it was like similar where like I was doing a certain movement and he'd come up to me and be like, "That's good. I did this the other week on that," and I was like, "Oh, guess I got to beat it," And it was like very much like natural sort of like, "You're doing this, I do this. Can you spot me? Can you do this?" Because I don't know what it's like with you guys, but like especially in like pure gyms are like the most commercialized gyms in the UK. So there's not many people in there that actually really want to be in there. Like most of the people are just signing up because they've got a cheap membership opportunity and they just want to go because they've got nothing else to do. Where like with me and Finn, we were like, oh, we're actually trying to look better. There's just no gyms in the area that are good.
Yeah, I've been to Pure Gym once in Scotland, like 7 years ago, and it was true. Like I was probably the only guy to actually train there. And when one guy came up to me and he was like, "Oh, nice, you're doing like a bent over row or something," and he was talking to me just because he saw that I was the only one training. So I can imagine that like Pure Gym vibes are probably this the same across like all the countries. Like if you see someone that actually trains, like you're immediately drawn to it, like because you share some similar traits, and all the other guys are just like, yeah, maybe he walks on a treadmill. What was the there was the beginning of the friendship. Like, how did you guys like decide what to maybe do a podcast together, and like what was the next steps? Because now you're obviously I think me and a lot of guys like see you together, like Reece and Finn. So how did it become what it is today?
Again, it was quite funny because we initially we had that conversation. We followed each other on Instagram. I then remember Finn coming up to me being like, "You train there like similar sort of times to when I train. Like, do you want to train together?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure thing, man." Like, and it was like very much because I wanted to train with him. But I was like almost not. I wasn't being too cool, but I was like, he'll ask me because I was a bit stronger than him. So I was like, I'm not asking this guy who's weaker than me if he wants to train. And then he said to me about training. So I was like, "Yeah, sure. When do you want to train?" And he was like, "What's your split?" And I was like, "What are you doing tomorrow?" And then like we just from that point just aligned sessions, and like immediately it was like, right, cool, you're doing push tomorrow. I think I was doing push to say like the day before, but I was like, I can do push again tomorrow. It's fine, bro. So like I think I trained push like twice in a row just so we could align splits. And then I remember like we trained together for like maybe 4 weeks, like, but we were like absolutely. It wasn't like we were trained together. We were like trying to kill each other. So it was like. We weren't thinking clever. It was like, right, what do you do? Okay, let's just go heavier. Let me try and do this. Let's do 5 assisted reps. And I feel like that sort of, firstly, it made us hate each other because we absolutely trashed each other to the point where, like, fatigue was through the roof. Like, we hated training. It was like, after a month, I remember we both were like, I feel awful. And we were like, yeah, cool. What we doing tomorrow? Let's go heavier. So it was just like fatigue maxing, taking everything to like stupid levels of intensity. And then after maybe doing that for a few months, we both made a good amount of progress, but we both like didn't really like get on because we were so trash that like he'd probably do a set, not do that well. I beat him, and then he'd take that personally. And I remember like we had a lot of like little like fallouts where we'd be training and something wouldn't go to plan, and like we'd end up just having like a little bit of an argument. Nothing that personal, but we just ended up like falling out a bit. I then went to uni. I changed unis for the following year. So like I think we trained maybe once or twice, like while I was like coming back home and stuff like that. And then it wasn't until lockdown. So obviously, I'm guessing your gym's closed as well during lockdown and stuff like that.
Yeah, we had some like different ways to train. So like some gyms were open with the windows taped out, so we could train actually. There was some period where all the gyms were closed, but we could manage it.
Okay, fair enough. So yeah, so basically lockdown happened. And like we hadn't really trained for like a good probably like 6 months yet. We like beforehand, like I said, we trained every session for like a good period of time. And then I think because Finn didn't have any equipment, he basically messaged me like, "Hey bro, have you got any equipment? Can we train together?" So I was like, "Yeah, sure." Like I bought some bits and bobs just because I thought the gyms were going to be closed and stuff. So I was like, let me get like a barbell, adjustable bench, one with like those leg extension, hamstring curl things, and then some bands, some adjustable dumbbells and stuff like that. And I was like, right, yeah, we can train together. And then I think that like lockdown helped us coaching wise because we're posting ourselves constantly, but also that probably like actually brewed the like relationship and friendship that we have now. Because before then, we were very much just like gym bros who just killed each other in the gym. After, I think when you spend like every day 4 hours in a shed that's like no bigger than probably the room I'm in now, like it was very small. Like when we did, like there was the barbell could only go one way. If it went the other way, it hit the wall. Like that's how small it was. It wasn't big at all. This like little shed. And I think that probably is what like almost got us to the point where we are now when it comes to obviously owning a gym together. But like we were literally just chatting when we were training, and I think it was Finn's idea to the podcast, and he was like, "We probably should do a podcast and speak about what we're speaking about, because when you're in a shed with no like there was no service, like no Wi-Fi, no 3G, 4G or anything." You end up just talking about just random shit. So like we were in between sets just like chatting about training stuff, and like I feel like that then led to the podcast, that then led to what we're doing now, and obviously as well we were posting on social media about it, which again I think it was just quite like looking back it seemed like quite almost structured, when in reality it wasn't. It was just like, let's just have some fun, let's just build up from what we're doing here and go from there.
So you didn't go to the same uni as Finn in Loughborough?
We did. No. We did for the first year. So that's why I was in Loughborough initially. And then I moved. So I basically, long story short, split up with the girlfriend I was seeing, wanted to do a different course, because I was doing a different course because I wouldn't, if I went to the uni I was going to initially, I probably wouldn't have been able to be with her. And then when that didn't work, I was like, I don't need to be doing this course. And then it was more so a case of, cool, let me actually go to the uni that I wanted to go to initially to do a course.
So how does it work? You did 1 year at this uni and then switched to another? Like how
Yeah, it's quite easy. Just literally, you can, like, after 1 year, you can basically just like file to do something else somewhere else, and they basically just take your results, move it on. I think maybe if it was a completely different course, it'd be a little bit different. But I went from like sports coaching and something else to doing strength and conditioning, and I was already doing strength and conditioning as a module in the first year. So it was basically quite easy. I just remember like filing to submit it. I had people at my initial uni helping me, and then they accept you and go, yeah, cool, sound, come here. Like, I guess like it's not that big of a thing. I thought it was, but it really wasn't.
Oh yeah, so it's a bit different. Like in Poland, like let's say I have a 5-year degree, so you need to do like 5 years continuously, like to get a degree, and it's not like you can change. So yeah, it's different in a way. Yeah, when it comes to the setting out the podcast and everything, Finn mentioned that actually the COVID and the break was good for you guys for growing the business. Do you also feel this as well? Like because of the break and actually staying together so much time?
Yeah, 100%, man. I think like a lot of people in the UK, like this was when like Warzone and Call of Duty was prime. So I don't know if you play like Warzone, Call like whatever, but like everyone was playing Call of Duty, just like I don't know, just not being that productive with their time, in my opinion, for the people that I was around. And like I remember me and Finn were like, we were building up our client base at this point. I think Finn was part PT, part online, and because I was still at uni, I was like, well, I can't really do PT, and I was just doing online. And I remember just again at the time, we were just like, right, cool, let's post every single session we were doing. We were like posting the rationale for why we're doing it. We started doing the podcast. We had initial client base that I feel like all sort of gravitated because nobody was really posting their training. And then as well, because of like all the COVID stuff, there was so much like social distancing and stuff. And because me and Finn were just training together, I feel like people probably gravitated towards sound. They're just training together in a shed. Like it's actually quite nice to see probably people interact still, because everyone was so split up and isolating themselves and stuff. So I definitely think from like a social media standpoint, and then also as well, Finn competed the year before, which probably people would have gravitated towards that because that was a COVID year as well. So that was 2020. So, and then in 2021, I competed. So it was probably like people saw me and Finn compete back-to-back years. The people that obviously would probably be following us were probably a little bit younger, so they were getting into it themselves. And I think it was almost kind of a good introduction towards like, this is what me and Finn have been doing. We're doing the podcast, we both compete, and we're doing it kind of together, which I think was quite rare. Like even now, like there's not many people that I look at in like the UK that are like doing it as a duo, where they like do their shit together, they train together, they coach in a sense together, but they don't. And it's like, I feel like again, it was quite a natural sort of introduction towards, I'm Reece, this is Finn, this is what we do, you know?
I feel like there isn't any duo like that. Like maybe like Josh and Tom, they're doing the podcast, but they're not training together all the time. They don't have a gym together. So yeah, I think like you guys are like specific in that area. When it comes to like you and Finn competing like next other years, when was your first competition, and did you compete as a natty first, or was it like?
No, so I did 2021. Finn did 2020. I was natty until literally basically prep. So looking back, that probably wasn't the best decision. But the thing is I had like, I'd been training, like I said, since I was 13, so I was 22 at this point. And I remember like every year I'd get pretty lean. And the thing is like, I could have easily stepped on stage as a natty. When I went to Cuba and I went on holiday and I got into coaching, like I said, I could have easily stepped on stage in that condition and done very well. Like I had done everything as a natty, but I almost looked at my physique. And I also think as well, and this is me being maybe a bit of a hater towards natural men's physique. So Josh Croggan, Tom, I'm so sorry if you listen to this. I know they love the natural bodybuilding for men's physique. I think men's physique is one of those where it, from a natural realm, like I really don't see too much merit to it unless you're genetically an absolute freak. Like I really liked how I looked at like 6 weeks out conditioning. And then eventually, when you're a natty and you have to get inside out sliced, your top line just dies. Your delts don't look the best. And as a result, I almost looked to myself thinking, right, my frame's pretty good. I can tell that I've got pretty good potential. I've done the whole process for 9 years. I trained for 9 years naturally. I got really, really lean, but I was like, if I'm going to be competing, I'm going to go down the enhanced side relative to men's physique. If I was to, I've looked at bodybuilding. I really like natural bodybuilding. I think natural, like open bodybuilding and classic is fantastic. I just think men's physique is the one class where if I was to compete in personally, it's so dominant on your top line and that pop and fullness. Unless, again, you're a genetic alien, not many natural guys have that. And I noticed for myself, my physique just kind of died and I didn't really like how I looked when I got down to those like super, super, super low levels of body fat relative to me being on stage, being happy with what I looked at. So yeah, it was more so a case of Finn obviously competed naturally. I was still natural till literally 2021 and I competed back into 2021. But it was like, if I'm going to do this, where am I going to be long term? And I'd done this for enough years and I was like, I'm going to go down the enhanced side. So that was kind of like it was a no-brainer for me, even though looking back, it would have been nice to have competed naturally, but I don't think I would have got anything more out of it because I already got lean naturally. It wasn't where I was like, cool, thank God for that. I'm a sister. I can take loads of clen and not do as much work and stuff, you know?
Did you treat it as a natural progressions, like men's physique, then classic, then bodybuilding, or was it like, hey, I want to do men's physique, but not I won't do it naturally, but then still like do the men's physique, not bodybuilding?
It wasn't really a progression. I didn't really, honestly, bro. Like, I feel like a lot of people get into bodybuilding now, and like, especially like the clients that probably we have and stuff. Like, and like let's say maybe Finn and the other guys you've had on, like they almost come into it and they're like, I want to do this, and then I want to do that. I just love training. And it was very much a case of like, I got into bodybuilding because I love the training side of things. When I got on stage for the first time, I was like, okay, cool. I'm all right at this, I guess. And then it wasn't really ever a case of, right, I'm going to do classic, then I'm going to go to open. It was like, let me just train, let me get lean and see where I stack up and then see how I do.
Yeah, I remember your classic prep. I was watching like all the training video with you and Finn, and at first I was asking you in the comments, I think a few times, like, what's your height? Because I wanted to compare. Oh, he's like similar height. Maybe if I weigh the same like him, I'll look like this, and etc. So I think like all of the young guys are like to compare to that. But I remember like you were like so peeled. Like I don't know what your weight was, but you were like so just insanely peeled at that. The classic show was what year? 2023?
So I did, yeah. In 2023, I did men's physique for the first 2 shows and then did classic for the last 2. So it was like I took off a little bit more weight. But funnily enough, like I was leaner in 2023 than I was in 2025. I just had more muscle, so I looked better in 2025. But like, as you said, like that gained me loads of followers. That was like what got me up to 100k initially, because I over dieted myself to the point where I wanted to see what I looked like at my classic weight cap. And it was a really freaky look. It just didn't translate that well on stage. Like, I looked really cool for Instagram, but I knew I had so many limitations to my physique. I was like, I'm not probably going to do my best. And objectively, my results were the worst in that 2023 prep. Like, that was, I think I got a 4th place in my final show, which was my worst ever placing. I only won 2 shows, which beforehand I've always seemed to win quite a lot. So, like, my worst ever prep was 2023. But, like, from an objective standpoint relative to how cool it looked, I was like, hell yeah, I was sliced, you know, which I think as a bodybuilder, you never want to be like, I could be leaner. You know, you always want to be like, I'm fucking peeled.
What year was it when you competed against Jack and beat him?
2021.
2021.
So that was my second show.
That was the Arnold Amateur. What show was it?
Yeah, Arnold Amateur. We were in the juniors. That was my second ever show.
Yeah, so technically you are better than Jack, because
no. Jack beat me. Jack beat me.
Jack beat. Oh, I think I thought it was the other way around.
No.
All right.
By 1 point. So, yeah, that result still is going to go to the grave with me and annoy me, because I don't know how. Again, it depends on. There was only a 3-man lineup. But Jack walked out in the middle initially. So I think, the third. Like, they obviously they align you because of like surnames or whatever. And they moved me to the middle to end it. So like I got moved to the middle. And I was like, oh, sick, yeah, I beat this kid because he was a bit younger than me. And then, no, he beat me by 1 point, which I'm still, out of all the results, out of all the people I'm against, that's the one. I'm like, I can see why, because I think shape and structure, he was better than me in men's physique. But condition and size, I was bigger and leaner than him. So I was like, like, I'll happily take my other losses. But like, that's the one that I'm like, oh, guys, come on, give me that, please.
Yeah, but I feel like many people remember it as same as me because I thought that you beat him that. So I think most people like actually think that you won that on the day.
Unfortunately not, no. Yeah, that's, to be fair, I've been told that a lot. Like, even like afterwards, they're like, oh, well done, man. Like, you won the harness. I'm like, no, didn't. I got beat. But that being said, it's results. Like, at the end of the day, like, Jack then was like, as he is now, it's a fantastic athlete. Like, it was really cool because that was my second ever show. And that was like his like 7th or 8th. And even though he was younger than me, I was like, this is cool to be up against somebody who, like, now it wouldn't surprise me if he was to get to Olympia in the next few years. Like, to be on stage against someone like that's really cool. So yeah, it was a good experience looking back, definitely. As much as when I got the result, I was like, guys, what the fuck? Come on.
Yeah. How talking about Jack, how do you think we'll do at the next season? I don't want to like make the podcast about Jack, but as we are talking about it.
No. To be fair, like, I think it's one of those, Jack looks fantastic for Instagram. Like, he always does. Like, even before he like won his pro card, he looks ridiculous on Instagram. But the problem is with Classic is obviously how well does that translate to stage? And you can look really good, but sometimes age does just show. Like, you get like some guys like let's say Niall Darwin, who has not been in it that long, and obviously he's a little bit older than Jack, but like that translates so well to stage because he's got that sort of like density and that sort of like 3D look. Where Jack, obviously, I think silhouette wise, if you're judging off a silhouette and you were to squint your eyes, Jack's probably Mr. Olympia himself. Like, he probably wins the Classic Olympia. But if you go off all the other aspects of what's going to make you a truly, like, let's say, elite pro Classic physique, does he have that yet? I don't know. But I think, again, it's one of those where, like, I love Jack's physique. I think Jack's a great dude. I've got not a bad word to say about Jack. But do I think he's going to be, in my opinion, winning top-end, let's say, pro shows this year? Maybe not. But if he does, I'd be buzzing for it. I'd be well happy for him. I think it'd be awesome. So, yeah, I don't really think too much of it. Like, I think, like you see like Fuad's podcast and they all do predictions, who's going to win. Like, I never really think anything like that. I just think like, cool, does he look good? Yes, see how he does. I think for Jack, going off his last year's look, I think the best thing for him would just be to be within a competitive like top 3 to 4, because I think he was a little bit out of that. Like, he was on like the edge of a first call out and stuff, and not maybe the best of shows. I think his first show, he obviously missed the mark slightly, but obviously with him and Kyle, they seem to be doing quite well. And I wish Jack all the best, but I think it's hard, especially when it comes to Classic. Like, someone can look so good on Instagram and then, like, we have 2 guys in the UK Jack competed against last year. Alex Kent, don't know if you know him, the big Kent. Yeah. He beat Jack,
Detroit, right?
Yeah. He beat Jack in both Jack shows, I'm pretty sure. Or he beat Jack twice, I'm pretty sure. Nobody had him beating Jack on socials, like every single time. I remember Beyond the Stage was sharing, so that's an Instagram page that share. Do you know Beyond the Stage?
Yeah, I know. If he does the news with what?
Okay, yeah. So, last year they weren't doing that, so I don't know if they were as popular. But they were sharing, like, Alex and Jack, and everyone was like, Jack's going to destroy him, and then Alex beats him. Yeah, Alex on Instagram doesn't look at all as good as Jack, but does it translate better to stage? Yeah, because he's older. He's got probably a little bit more, like, density and stuff like that, a bit more quality, not just a really nice sort of, like, silhouette. So, yeah, we'll see. I don't know. What's your opinions on Jack? What do you reckon?
Yeah, I feel like I saw Jack in person, like in 24 summer. He was obviously like off season, but yeah, like you said, maybe the density is what needs to come with years, because like the shape is crazy. Like the front lat spread, there's like no blanks, no extra space here. Like the silhouette is just so perfect. Maybe from the back, like the legs are obviously crazy, the glutes and hamstrings, but maybe like the back itself could be more thicker. And I feel like in the front double, maybe like if there was some more separation between the biceps and triceps, like obviously it's the case, like I think the Mike Sommerfeld has similar case with arms, like there is no like clear lines between the biceps and triceps, they're just like round and bubbly, but maybe there's no extra separation. And Jack's forearms are so huge that might actually be a disadvantage in that pose. Like in front of the lat spread, sure, like it looks great because like it fits together, but in front double bicep, I feel like those forearms are maybe almost too big.
Yeah,
like I'm not sure.
No. I think that's probably quite a good assessment. I remember we trained together in like 2024. It was actually, I think, after I injured my knee, which was like, it was just before. It was just before. And I remember like we posed against each other at the end of the session. And like, it was quite funny because like, I remember like looking at his arms and I was like, my arms are bigger than your arms, but your arms look bigger in the mirror. Like we were posing and I was like, my arms are actually bigger than yours, but yours look bigger. How does that make sense? And I think again, that just goes to show like some people are just built for like, again, he's not built for Instagram. He will be a fucking classic pro winning physique, I have no doubts. But like, I think people see a silhouette on Instagram and they go, oh my God. But then again, you see that next to people who look good on Instagram, but they look really good on stage. It kind of shows. And the thing is with Jack is he's like 23. Give him a few years, he'll be good. But I think like people probably put a bit too much. Like I remember seeing people saying he's going to win, he's going to beat Wesley and stuff like that. And it's like, he's really not. Like he's not that good yet, but he will be. I have no doubts at all. As much as I know right now, if he was listening to this, he'd probably be like, Reece, I'm going to be winning this, I'm winning that. Best of luck. I hope you do, bro. I think you'll do great. But he is young and it takes time. And you see most of the guys, unless it's Sebum, most people aren't probably on the Olympia stage at 23, 24, like in the top 5. But it wouldn't surprise me when he wins his first pro show, in my opinion. I think he'll probably be within the top 5 to 6 at the Olympia because he's got that potential. He's just not there yet, which takes time. So, yeah, I wish him all the best.
Yeah, I think Jack's like 1 month younger than me. That's I remember it. So it's
really?
It's crazy to think. Yeah. Because I remember like when he won his pro card, it was in August. I think the Spain show, and it was like I think just after his birthday or just before that, something like that. Do you actually follow bodybuilding content? Like you mentioned, Fuad, the Beyond the Stage, because some guys are like strictly coaching, training, and just leave the bodybuilding outside. But do you actually follow it on an everyday basis?
I'd say so. Like I think it. I remember again talking about Jack. I remember somebody was, I think it was Sam, we had the same videographer, and Sam said he was like, all Jack does is watch bodybuilding content. Like whenever he's been with him, like if he's eating a meal, it's bodybuilding content. Where I'm probably not that invested. Like I will listen to football, I will watch gaming videos, stuff like that. Like I try to switch off. Like in the off season, I don't really consume as much bodybuilding content. But like in prep, I'm very much like, yeah, gotta watch everything, gotta watch this, gotta watch that, gotta listen to this podcast. But I definitely follow bodybuilding. Like if you were to say to me top 3 at a certain show, I'd probably remember it. Please don't, because don't expose me. But I probably would remember it. But like I'm not. Like, you know, you see like AJ on fucking Instagram, AJ Kelly, whatever his name is, on Instagram, and he's like,
he's crazy. He's
videoing somebody. He's like, oh my God, what the hell? Like, I'm not like that. I'm not going to watch Andrew Jack come out at the Arnold's this year and lose my shit. But I also am like, I'm going to know the top 7 at most shows or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's a fine line. Like, I'm not all into the point where bodybuilding consumes my entire life, but I definitely follow it enough because as well, it helps from a coaching standpoint. Like, if you're not following the top dudes and seeing what the judges are looking for, I know obviously again amateur level is very different, but like you should know what the judges are looking for. You should know what's in for that sort of like show, let's say, kind of criteria. It'd be like, let's say, for example, in the UK 5-6 years ago, you had pro cards being given out to men's physique guys that were the absolute opposite of who are winning pro cards now. If you're not looking at that as from an amateur to pro level, that's not going to help you from a coaching standpoint.
Yeah, can you give us the top 3 of Oklahoma Pro 2016? No, just kidding. I don't even know there's such a show. No, I just made it up. Like, speaking about pro cards, do you think, because there was a debate on the Fuad's podcast, how do you feel like the decreasing number of pro cards being given away is affecting the sport? Is it like good because more money comes less so they can like give more awards at the shows, or does it actually lower the prestige? I don't think there is anymore like a prestige when it comes to pro card, but what do you think about it?
What do you think about it? What's your opinions?
My opinion is this, like, getting a pro card is just like it allows you to compete at pro level. So I don't care if someone gets pro card who shouldn't have it, because he competes, he's gonna get like place. Like why anyone would care? So the more pro cards, if more pro cards mean more money, like better money for athletes, like better show presentation, everything around it. Like I'm cool with it. Like I feel like most people who are like hating in the comments or just like being keyboard warriors, they want the card themselves, but because they aren't getting it, the easier it is to get the card, the harsher it is for them to realize, because they are still not getting it, even though it's easier. So they are just frustrated by it. But I don't think it hurts the sport in any way. It's just making it bigger. And on the end of the day, like the top 10 guys at the show isn't affected by someone who shouldn't have a pro card, but got it maybe at Masters plus 45, being the only person in the category.
Yeah, no, I think we share similar thoughts. The only thing I'll probably add to that is I do think there's some shows where, Like, for example, like you look at like the NPC nationals in America or like the junior nationals, where sometimes it's like the top two in the class, which
Yeah.
I think is baffling. Like, I don't get that. Like, I don't see how you can win a pro card finishing like top two in that. That doesn't make sense, because unless it's absolutely exceptional circumstances, you have two genuine, like, these guys could do well in the pro show. I don't think it should be given to like the top two or whatever. Or like, I even think some amateur Olympias, like, they're given top three in the overall, and it's like there's 5 classes that are going into overall, 6 classes that are going to overall. So like half of the guys that are winning classes are going to be winning pro cards. I don't really agree with that, but then at the same time, are those shows going to attract a higher standard? Potentially so. And as you said, like, there's a lot of guys, like, everybody knows dudes who have pro cards who do not and are never going to do well within the pro like classes. Like, their last ever win might be that pro card win, because they're never going to win a show from that point, which, in my opinion, like, I think it almost, again, the quality, I would look at and think bodybuilding being more accessible and being more, let's say, open is probably not going to be a bad thing, because the quality eventually will probably get higher. It just means that people have IFBB Pro in their bio and they don't really look that impressive. But I also think as well, like, nowadays, as you said, like, I don't think the pro card has the same sort of, like, I don't know, I feel like maybe back in the day, like in the UK, it was where through the UK BFF, there was like a list of like all the guys who have won when UK only had one pro card per year.
Yeah, there's the trophy with the names.
Yeah, and it's like, it's at JP's gym actually. And I remember reading through the list, and it's like, you got James Hollingshead, Nathan Diasher, like, you've got a fantastic crop of athletes, like, year on year on year on year. And now it's like, you look at all the UK guys who have won pro cards, like, funnily enough, the newest UK pro, I beat somebody who beat him last year. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, the newest IFBB pro in the UK, I beat somebody who beat him, like at my last show. So it's funny to think that, like, again, maybe that dumbs down the sort of like prestige, but then also, like, I think it's one of those where you have to be the best on the day. And would the shows have the same amount of like investment from a financial standpoint and also from an athlete standpoint if you were to do a show and you weren't to win a pro card? Like, who's flying to Poland or to, I don't know, Romania to do a pro qual if it's not a pro qual? No one's doing it just to win a show. You know, you're doing it to win a pro card. And in my opinion, if you're going to be winning a pro card, you want to be going down that level, you should be doing somewhat decent in a pro show. I'd hate to be winning a pro card and then having to take 3 years off to be making a first call out. You know, that's not going to be good. But for a lot of guys, it probably will be. And then they have to add up the pros and cons from an enhancement standpoint. Is that one going to be worth it, health-wise, to take 2 or 3 years off and maybe not even be winning or doing that well, you know?
Yeah, I agree on the second place pro card. I also don't think they should be awarded with because you clearly haven't won it. Maybe like if there was, I think when you mentioned like maybe in some cases when the guy is like truly outstanding, but I still feel like if he was that good, like he will win it next year or another show. Like if he's clearly that good, it's just a matter of time. I was talking to Jack Classic about it, like because you mentioned you don't want to like let's say win a pro card and then wait 3 years because to then compete, and he had like. We were talking about which approach is better for most people. Like, would you rather win a pro card, then take 3 years and then compete as a pro, or wait those 3 years, make improvements, and then when you become a pro, you are ready to compete? Like, what's your take on it? Because like you as a Reece, but what's your take? Like, if you say, let's say you have a client who wants to like, let's say do a pro show in 3 years, is it better to be a pro now and take 3 years, or just be ready when you are actually winning the card?
I'd say personally it should be, I'd say a bit of both. Like, in an ideal world, the latter would be the best because then you don't have to take that long off. But then also, I think depending on, like, let's say, for example, for Jack, that's obviously a classic dude. Because of that weight cap, like, you're not really ever going to be winning a pro card in classic and then winning a pro show the next day. That's really not going to be the case because you have more weight, you have that, and as well with classic, a lot of the times it's that sort of maturity of a muscle of just spending time pushing up, pulling down. You like look at all the top dudes, like Sebum didn't probably add much weight from 2020 to 2023, yet looked so much better. Maybe I know they did obviously allow a little bit extra weight, but just due to that sort of maturity within a look. But I almost think, like, again, it should be a case of just getting your feet wet. Like, if I was to say to any athlete coming up and they're like, I want to win a pro card, I want to do well in the pro show, I'd be like, when you have a, let's say, pro qual winning / top 3 potential physique, get on stage, do some pro quals, see how you do. If you manage to snag a pro card, awesome, cool, you've got that, then take a few years off. But if you end up just keep being relentless, you'll eventually get one, and you might then, by the time you get one, be way more competitive within a pro show because you've taken the time. Like, I think it's one of those where, like, a lot of guys, they just view it as like the immediate, the next 6 months, the next 12 months. When in reality, it's like most of us are going to probably be doing this for 3, 4, 5, 6 years. So in 5 to 6 years, you might have a pro card regardless of when you get it, but you then are going to be competitive within a pro lineup if you're within 5, 6 years from now. If it's a year from now and you win your pro card, it might not be the case, but you're still on that sort of like progression scheme, because you're not going to win a pro card and go, oh, sound, that's me done. Some people are, but most people aren't. And likewise, if you don't win a pro card after 2 or 3 years, you're not probably just going to give up, because you'll probably be more hungry because you'll be really close. So I almost think, like, try not to worry too much about like if and when or how long you're going to have off. Just be a bodybuilder, step on stage when the time is right, see where you stack up, take time off, keep going, and then eventually when you win it, you'll probably be either close or you won't be, but that's not going to really change things.
How do you manage clients' expectation? Because nowadays, like, everyone has the road to pro in their bio. Like, how do you actually manage the expectations? Like, bro, you're not training pro in 3 months, and we cannot start prep because like too fat or you just don't have any muscle yet.
I'm quite honest. Like, I've always been very honest. I think you can probably tell based off like how I am as a person on socials. Like, I'll always be very straight up. And I think, like, for example, and this isn't me like bragging, but I remember I've had a message in the last week saying I made somebody cry because I said to them, "You're not going to be doing that well. You're not handling your off season that well. You're not going to be winning a pro card or anything like that." And literally, me saying that, they replied saying, "You made me cry." Like, but thank you, and stuff like that. I had a client last year leave me after me saying he wanted to win a PCA pro card, and I was like, bro, like, I'm sorry, your off season reflects nothing other than you maybe snagging a 3rd or 4th place. And like, I was very nice, and I'm not just going to be horrible to just say it, but I feel like, again, a lot of people love to say, as you said, like road to pro, or they say these are my goals, but their actions are the complete opposite. And I find bodybuilding quite a funny regard nowadays, where like people think that just like doing the basics is okay. Like, every single guy listening to this podcast who's into bodybuilding is probably eating 5 meals a day. They're probably training 5 times a week. They're sleeping for 6 to 9 hours a night. People do that shit and they're like, yeah, man, I'm not missing a beat. And it's like, yeah, nobody is. That's the basics. Like, that's the absolute basics. Every single person is doing that. So it's really what differentiates you between those smaller aspects, the psychological side of things, the pushing yourself in the gym. That's the stuff, in my opinion, that's going to be the game changers. And for the people that I coach that are like that, I will say to them, cool, wouldn't surprise me in a few years if you have a pro card or if you have a few overall wins or whatever. But for now, like, let's just enjoy what we're doing and let's focus on today, what we need to do today to get better.
Yeah, I feel like the standard now is so low, and it's like it's a paradox because they obviously have like high goals, like being a pro.
Yeah.
But the standard, they feel like you said, like, just because you eat and train and sleep, like, this isn't magic. Like, this is the basic. This is the bare minimum you need to do. I feel like Chris, do you know the Modern Wisdom podcast?
Can't say a second. Do I know
the Modern Wisdom podcast with Chris Williamson?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah. He gave a good example, like when there are, let's say, guys that are like angry and annoyed that they cannot find a partner or a girlfriend, and they are like, man, I'm punctual, like I'm kind, all the stuff, and he's like, yeah, but this is the bare minimum, and there's a guy that does all of this and plays a guitar, so this is similar to it. So, like, you have to do the basics, but then actually, let's say you are eating 5 meals. Maybe we make sure that those 5 meals aren't like 5 times domino. Maybe you are sleeping 6 hours. Let's make sure that you aren't watching like TikTok in the middle of the night and the sleeping are irregular. But I feel like, I don't know what do you think, but maybe the having the road to pro goal in the bio makes them cooler somehow. Like, they think like, oh, people see that I'm taking it seriously, but it's like you say, the actions should actually tell your goal. Like, you shouldn't have to clarify that your goal is to turn pro. If you are like doing everything as a pro before you do it, like, everyone can see it, but it's maybe like I don't know, like they are ashamed of their not being disciplined, and they have to put it out, because if they don't, like, you wouldn't know they are trying to get pro. But I'm not sure they aren't even trying. They just do it because they see other guys that are turning pro, and they think in their head that this is what they want. But like, it's clearly it's not what they want, because they lack the internal like drive to it. So I'm not really sure they won't.
Yeah, no, I agree, bro. I think it's one of those where people love to say what they're doing, and in reality, like, life is a weird thing where your work will show one way or another, and if it's not showing immediately, you just need to keep turning up, or you need to assess, are you actually doing things properly? And I think within bodybuilding, it's the one thing that I really like, because irrelevant of genetics or anything, like, if you put the work in, it will show, and you don't really need to speak about it. Like, when I got on stage in the last year, like, I didn't really in the prep speak that much about what I was doing, other than just like, this is what I'm doing today, this is what I'm doing tomorrow, this is how the next week's gonna go. And when I then, let's say, added, I was like 17 kilos up, it was a case where, like, that was because I just spent time in the off season building food up, eating my meals. Like, I never put up like final meal going in, guys, don't want to eat this meal, or, you know, like got out of bed and could barely walk because my legs were fucked. I was like, no, cool, let me just keep doing what I'm doing. But again, it's through social media, we're almost pressured to be putting ourselves out there, and then as a result, I think people think they need to be doing that sort of shit, when in reality it's like, I've been doing the same sort of stuff for years at this point without thinking much of it. It's all habit. Like me waking up and doing my cardio or going for a walk or whatever. Like, I haven't put a session of cardio up on my stories now for months because I don't need to. Like, that's the shit I do.
So it doesn't count.
Fuck,
the
bro.
cardio doesn't count.
Yeah, it doesn't count. You have to put everything. If you don't put a story up on Instagram or a post up, it doesn't count. But again, I think it's probably just part of the reason why I think social media is really good. I also think it can be quite negative because people can just focus on that. I need to do this or I need to show this. But in reality, like, when I started training, I didn't film any sessions. I just went in, trained hard, and then I'd randomly, when I was 16, post a physique update every 4 months, and I get a few comments being like, "Yo, bro, looking way more jacked." I was like, hell yeah, it's working. Where like now it's like every single person. It's like, to be fair, it's the part of the reason why I really respect AJ, obviously AJ Morris, for like not really posting any physique updates in his prep, because I think that's really cool. Like, just not having to post himself, not thinking he needs to, and then just turning up on stage, winning a pro card, winning an overall, and looking wild. Like, that's sick. Like, I think there should be more people like that. Like, unfortunately, you know it yourself probably, when you prep, social medias do better, business is better. You almost have to, and I would always say to people who are probably listening to this, like, do please post yourself. Like, not everybody can do an AJ, but like at AJ's point, like, even for me now, I could probably prep and not post myself and just turn up on stage. You know, and I think that's really cool. I think that's quite an exciting kind of thought process. Because again, everyone's inclined to post constantly, and it's like, just focus on just doing the doing, let your results do the talking.
Yeah, we actually talked about this with AJ, and his advice was like, is kind of good, because he said to me that when he was actually like starting out, like growing the business itself, he was posting the physical updates, but now he's at the point that he doesn't have to, and I feel like you're in the similar way. Do you still feel like guys coming up that are looking to go the coaching business or the online presence, that they actually should post the physical update just to showcase that they are doing the work, they aren't just talking?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say it would be very silly and for you not to, because people invest in the person before they invest in the business. Like, you could be a pretty average coach, but if you market yourself well and you tick boxes yourself and you're funny or look good, people will probably gravitate towards you just because they're like, hell yeah, I like this guy. And I think nowadays, like, especially if you are starting out, like, you see so many people with self-doubt. Like, well, let's say, for example, when we got into the gym, social media probably wasn't as prevalent. Did you look at, let's say, were you probably more confident in your physique when you first started training because you didn't see social media?
100%.
Yeah, 100%. That's how it is. And I think nowadays people see, like, let's say, for example, I got tagged in a story last year from a coach, and he used me as an example, and he was like, why would anybody come to me and not just go to Reece because Reece looks really good? And like, I thought about it, and I was like, there is an element, because he doesn't post his physique that much. And as a result, when you start out, you look at, let's say, if I downloaded Instagram now, and I saw Jack Eagles post physique update or Josh Croggan post physique update in prep, I'd be like, I look awful. I'm never going to post my physique. But you have to get there through just literally putting yourself out there. And I can guarantee, if, let's say, Jack, Josh, Finn, me, or whatever, yourself, if we never posted physique updates, people wouldn't gravitate and invest in us as individuals, because there's nothing better, especially as a guy. I don't know what it is about just being dudes, but like, when I see someone who's made improvements to their physique, even I might not even like you, but I can look at you and go, hell yeah, that looks sick. You know, like, we might not even get on a personal level, but for physique wise, I know that's tough work and I respect that work. And I think, again, if you're starting out in the game, like, just posting yourself, even if you don't like how you look, it's so important, because people will naturally look at that. And also as well, some people will look at, let's say, dudes who have done really well, and they can't get that sense of, like, almost, you know, like, it doesn't feel real to them, because it's like you're so far away from where you need to be. Where, like, let's say, for example, you're starting out and you see someone go from 70 kilos to 80 kilos, like, you're a beginner. You're probably going to look at that and see way more sort of, like, you're going to see that realism, because you can actually kind of look at it and think, okay, I can relate to that. But you can't relate to somebody at 120 kilos on stage. You know, that's not going to be relatable to the average gem pop getting into bodybuilding.
Yeah, I feel like now it's even more important to just post your physiques, because there are so many coaches that, let's be honest, like, don't look the part. Like, they wear the same t-shirts like you have, like Gasp for XL oversize, so they can hide like the physique, and that might look like fool somebody, but let's be honest, like, you actually have to go through walk the walk yourself, because how can you, like, coach somebody to, let's say, go to the stage, train hard, when you've been doing it for like 6 months and not eating? So I feel like it's maybe more important to actually showcase that you aren't just an online coach with a bio, but a person who actually does it. And speaking of the confidence, because that's 100% true that when you are starting, you probably have more like confidence in your physique. Yeah. When was your like peak confidence when it comes to physique? Because I imagine this happened like when you were younger as well.
Oh yeah, bro. When I was 17, I was more jacked at 17 than I am now in my head. 100%. Like when I was 17, I was like, hell yeah, I'm 300 pounds lean in my head, but in reality, I was 160 pounds fat. Like that's how it is. I feel like everyone's kind of progression is kind of similar. Like everyone starts out and they're probably more confident, and then the deeper you get into it, the more effort you put in, the more work you put in, you probably start to become a little bit less confident. But then also, I think you enjoy the process more because you start to see yourself progress and you start to realize, oh, there's a lot more that's actually happening here, and I'm not as good as I probably thought I was. So I feel like you either go two sides. You either get really motivated off that, or you just go, oh, this is shit. This isn't for me. And if that's the case, cool, probably isn't.
Yeah, I feel like 1 year mark is like the highlight. When I was, I think it was like 2017, like 1 year into training, or like 1.5 years, I was walking around in a tank top. Like this was probably the last time in my life I was actually wearing tank top. I felt jack. I was probably like 6'1". I was 72 kgs maybe. Yeah. I felt like absolutely jacked, and I was like doing like rows. I was looking into mirror, like there was like something moving in the delts. This was crazy. Yeah. And then afterwards it was like straight down, like no, like the confidence went down. Now it's maybe starting to get, I don't know, to like a 10% mark, what was the highest. But then there was a point, I think many guys have that you actually want to push the body weight too much. And then you just fall into like the cycle, like pushing body weight too much, not cutting down so low that you are actually lean, and just going over and over. And then obviously like, then I actually managed to do like a real cut and actually see that, hey, I wasn't like the same weight as you, same composition. Because like seeing you push the body weight up so high, in my head I was like, oh, I'm gonna do what Reece does, push the body weight. I was like more than 120 kgs at one point. Yeah. So that was like pretty bulky look. And in my head I was like, yeah, I'm good. Like I'm not too fat. And looking back, like, yeah, man, you're clearly fat. Like the body fat you have, it's funny how in your mind, like when you're fat, you don't see yourself as fat, but you are actually in a good shape. In your head, you're fat. Like it's crazy what the mind does.
It is, isn't it? Like it's weird. And also as well, I think like the dysmorphia side of things works the same way. Like when I'm at my heaviest, like I feel smaller, like considerably. So like I'm like pretty much like I'm like just a few pounds or 300 pounds, but I feel smaller than what I was like at like 260. And it's a weird sort of like dynamic, and 100%, bro. Like when you push body weight up, like you can look at it and think like, oh, I'm not that fat. And like, everyone around you's like, bro, you need to diet. Like I was saying to Finn, like for months, I was like, you just need to do some cardio, bro. Like he's dieting now. Finn hadn't done a single session of cardio for like a good year and a half, and I was like, bro, just please do some cardio. Like you need to diet. And Finn was telling me, man, I'm 200-ish pounds. I'm happy with how I look. Now he's dieting, and he's like, oh yeah, I was fat. So I was like, yes, mate, you need to do some cardio, bro. Please get your heart rate up. Just do some exercise, bike, whatever. Do something.
Are you a fan of cardio in the off season? Are you keeping this in your routine?
Yeah. So it's a tricky one, because I think as you get more heavy, you get more jacked, your demands obviously increase in the gym. There's definitely an element where like when I do too much, it does impact my recovery pretty like significantly. But I also see the benefits. Like I've done cardio daily since my first prep. So in 2021, I did no cardio before, and I hated cardio in prep. And it was like such a shift. And from that point, I was like, if I just do it consistently, it doesn't really feel like when I prep, anything really changes. I just do a bit more. I make sure I'm doing a bit more intensity. But yeah, I'll always do some form of cardio. Admittedly, like especially with the heavier you get, like I said, it is a bit more impacting. And when I do it like daily, I do notice a bit of an impact of recovery. But that's probably only been in the last like year or so since being a fair bit heavier and a bit more jacked. But yeah, I would always say, like especially in the like building up body weight, coming up in body weight, coming down in body weight, just do cardio consistently. Like it will help you in prep, it will help you in off season, and as well, I think it's just good to have a part of your routine. I always say to my guys, I'd much rather have a bodybuilder who's moving more than moving less. Like just if you have to eat more, cool, that's not a bad thing. So yeah, I'd always be on the side of doing more cardio.
What's your preferred form? Like elliptical, like bike? What's your favorite? Oh, yeah, perfect.
I always
Do you
am.
actually do you actually play FIFA or some games during the
Oh
cardio?
yeah, hell yeah, bro. It depends, to be fair. Like if I'm in the gym, obviously I open up the gym like probably 3 to 4 times a week. So if I'm in the gym, I'll just do it and I'll like put a video on or something. I'll just get back to WhatsApps. But like and to be fair, in prep, I don't do cardio playing video games because I don't have the energy mentally. But like if I can whack it on and have some games on in the background or something, just a bit of distraction. It's one of those, I think in prep, like I enjoy cardio because it has benefit, but I'm more like locked in. In the off season, I'm just doing it just to kind of like tick a box and just to get my heart rate up. So I'm not like looking at my watch thinking, oh my God, is my heart rate at 130? If it goes down to like, in prep, if it goes down to like 128, I'm like, oh no, waste of time. Get my, like, keep going and stuff like that. So I think it depends, but no. I'll always try and make my cardio a bit more enjoyable. Like if there's a football game on or if it's something I can do and just kind of distract myself, makes sense. In prep, it's like blinkers are on, cardio has purpose. I almost treat cardio a bit like a training session in prep because it has to be. If not, you'll just waste your time and you won't even look at your heart rate and stuff like that. And you'll then just, again, you'll do enough cardio to create some fatigue, but probably not even get the calorie benefit as well. So, yeah.
I feel like the FIFA could help you with high heart rate probably.
100%.
Depending on if you're ready or not.
100%, bro. Like, I remember actually, I joked about a few stories, like playing some FIFA and then doing cardio. It's so easy because your heart rate goes through the roof because you'll be annoyed, and then you're like, "Wow, I don't even need to pedal," anything like that.
Are you like playing consistently, or is it like, let's say when the new FIFA comes out, to like play for a few months and then take a break?
It's funny. I speak about. I feel like whenever I do questions on Instagram now, I get asked so much about gaming, and like, admittedly, I don't play as much as I used to. Like, I probably have like this. I'd say the last 6 months, I might have like played on my PlayStation. Honestly, maybe a handful or 2 times, like maybe like 10 to 15 times. Like, I'll always get the new FIFA when it comes out. I'll get the new Call of Duty, but like, I think it's one of those where, like, especially with how like demanding my days are. I get to the end of the day and the last thing I want to do is like expend energy. Like, and I don't really have any moments now. Like, I think again, just probably getting older and having more on. I don't really have any moments where I go like, I can't remember the last time I've had an afternoon and I've got no work to do. Like, I've always got something to do. And there is definitely an element of like, especially as I think as you get more into coaching and more into bodybuilding, like if you're not being productive with your time, it's a bit of a waste of time. Like, I guarantee you probably have moments where if you're not filming this podcast and you were just like sitting around on your phone, you'd be like, what am I doing? I need to do something productive. I need to prep some meals or do some content for Instagram. Even if you had got back to all clients, every bit of work you were done, you probably like could do something more productive. So I definitely think there's an element towards that. But yeah, like I'll play some video games here and there, but like I'm not as much as I used to be, just because again I've got more on, which is a bit of a shame, but also it's part of growing up, I guess.
Do you feel like other activities that allows you to relax? But obviously, FIFA isn't relaxing at all. Are better, like to keep. Let's say you are busy. Let's say X hours per day, and then just have enough time, like to I don't know, watch a movie or something like that.
Yeah, I'd say so. Like, I think switching off, like, it's funny enough, it kind of links back to what we said at the start. Like, as you get busier, I think there is more benefit to switching off. When I was at uni, I probably never switched off because I didn't need to. I didn't have that much on. Nowadays, I think it definitely is a case where it's important. Admittedly, there is definitely like lesser time, and I think people hear the whole switch off and they think they can just do that constantly. Like, I might have, let's say, half an hour to an hour in the evenings. Like, usually, like me and Sanaya, like, we'll most likely probably from like 8:30, 9 o'clock, try to make sure that work is fully done so we can at least have a meal together. We can sit down, we can watch some TV. We're watching Dexter. You watched Dexter before?
Yeah. I've actually watched the latest season like 2 days ago.
Oh, really?
The one from last year. Have you watched it yet?
No. So we're on like I think we're on season 6 or something. Also,
the originals, because
the original.
Like, there was nice.
Yeah, because there's that Dexter Resurrection, which has that been cancelled? I feel like they did one season. I heard that it's been cancelled or something. Or are they doing more seasons of it?
After the normal Dexter, there was like Dexter New Blood. So obviously he's alive. Then in 24 there was Dexter Resurrection. I've watched 10 minutes of it and left because there's another actor playing it. It's a younger version, so I don't care about it. Yeah, there's just Dexter voice. There's his voice, but the actor is different. This is like he's being, I don't know, like 20 years old or something like that. So I've skipped it. And then the season from last year, the season from last year is, I think, I don't know what's the name, but the season in last year, like Dexter is obviously like again alive, and he's in New York with his son.
Oh, crazy! Well, thanks for saying he's alive, because now it means he dies in the first one. I know he dies. So yeah, I know.
I think it's kind of obvious when you can see him on like a trailer.
I imagine. I'm also not that invested in TV where I'm like, bro, don't spoil it. Like, I knew the ending of Game of Thrones before. Like, I knew the ending of Sopranos before I'd even watched that, like the cut to black and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say like TV, like me and Sanaa take an absolute age. We've been watching Dexter. Like, to be fair, we watched Sopranos, and that's I think 7 seasons, and it took us like literally a year to watch that. Like, we take like I've only probably watched maybe a handful of series, but I've watched like the best, the most like, highly rated ones. So yeah, I'd say like watching TV would probably be one, but then also as well like. I'll have times where, like, for example, me and Sanaa will go for a walk. When I'm prepping, we'll go for a nice walk on a rest day. We still go for walks like together. I'll go for a walk in the evenings. I'll watch like football games with my mum. I don't think I've missed a Liverpool game with her for years. Like, I'll watch that with her. So like I would almost say like and also as well like, I like my routine. Like, I wouldn't be somebody who like when I was away, obviously the week just gone in Madrid and Barcelona. I was almost like not guilty, but I was like, I enjoy getting back to my routine. I hate, when people go like the holiday blues or like the post prep blues or whatever. I love when post prep or when prep finishes, because I'm like, right, cool. Let me get into my off season. Let me get back into like having more energy for my clients. Not saying I have lesser energy, but you naturally will when you're low levels of body fat and you're a bit smashed. When I'm, let's say, for example, after a holiday, I look forward to like being back at my desk and just speaking to you and speaking to my clients and stuff like that. Like, that's stuff that I enjoy. So I don't really I never really feel like I need to have loads of time to switch off, because I don't feel like I get that burnt out. I love what I do. That being said, there is elements where if I didn't have that hour in the evenings to switch off, or if I couldn't go for a walk on a rest day or watch football with my mum, I probably would be a bit like, is this all life is? I'm just responding to check-in saying, yeah, man, 50 carb up this week, or let's add some super trolling this week or something. That's not really like my sort of vibe. So yeah, I suppose it depends on where I'm at in a certain phase, but I like what I do. So yeah.
What do you think about the Sopranos? Sorry, I will get back to other points, but I was curious.
What, the Sopranos? What, the ending or
yeah,
the season?
The just overall the TV show, because you mentioned like you only like want to watch the best, and I feel like Sopranos probably in my top three. So I'm curious.
What would be your top three?
Top True Detective, the first season.
Season 1?
Yeah, season 1. Season 4 shouldn't even be called True Detective. Like, I'm not sure what they did there. They changed the title for something different. Like, they added something to the title. Like, it was horrible, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I was going to say the Succession was probably in the top 3 as well. But to be honest, I saw it for the second time on prep when I was doing cardio. And it wasn't that, for the second time, it isn't as good. So it went lower. And I think Peaky Blinders, like, I love all the seasons. And it's like, obviously, Cillian Murphy, and it's great. So I think that the top 3 would be like the True Detective first season is like top first place. Peaky Blinders, and then Sopranos. Oh, sorry, The Wire.
It's hard. Great shout. Great shout.
No, so actually, you know what? The Wire as a overall, this is the first place, because every season is different. Every season is perfect.
Yeah,
The Wire is
The Wire is goated, man. Yeah, bro, we share similar thoughts. I'd say, like, funnily enough, Succession, I can completely understand why you said on a second watch it wouldn't be as good, because, and I also think as well, this sounds a bit outlandish, but I think The Wire and Sopranos are fairly similar in regards to like the family dynamic and how the story sort of moves. But Succession is a little bit more boring in regards to like there's less like, oh my god, and like Sopranos is, in my opinion, probably a TV show where, if you were to like randomly walk by the TV and like it was old, like 20 years ago, where TV was just playing constantly. Like nowadays, I can't remember the last time I turned on the TV to actually watch normal TV. But I feel like you could just sit down and watch an episode of Sopranos. Like, you could just go season 3, episode 9 or whatever, and you could just watch an episode and just enjoy it. Like, you don't even really need to know the story. You could just watch it and go, yeah, cool, this is great. I know Sanai didn't like the ending, but I really like the ending. But she's a bit simple. She likes everything being like spoon-fed to her. She's very much like Netflix, and like Netflix, like Prime, where everything has to be explained, the plot has to be explained. She'll go on her phone half the time, and like when she go on her phone, like watch something like, Sanai, this is important. Get on your phone. God, you can't go on your phone here, and stuff like that. So I think Sopranos, from a enjoyment and like just ease, and also as well, like some of the quotes and some of the lines just fantastic. Like, but it's not so heavily driven on like a story narrative, other than just like you watch it and you're just like, this is good, this is fun, this is a nice watch. Succession's really good. The Wire, I think, from again, like if you were to look at the city being explained and like almost showing the different parts, absolutely fantastic. I think Omar, one of the best characters of TV of all time, like such a cool character. Season 3 with like almost the rivalry between the two bosses you had. What's his name? I haven't watched it in years.
Yeah, the one with Idris Elba was
Idris Elba, and then the other one who plays a role in Creed.
Yeah, I know. But the guy in Kid was pretty young. He was a kid back then, yeah?
Yeah. So yeah, see, yeah. Either way,
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah. So he got killed in season 1. Yeah, he was season 1. But obviously as well, also the analogies towards like a chess game and how like it almost works within like you have literally season 1, which is like the streets, season 2, which is the docks, season 3. I think season 3 is like the gangs as well. Season 4 is the kids, and season 5 is like the news and like how the media works.
The news one was very good. Like I really enjoyed it.
I think it's just every season's just so unique and just really cool. Which again, funnily enough, is like you then look at True Detective, where season 1 every season's different, but season 1 peaked and then it kind of went a little bit downhill from that point. And then Peaky Blinders, I think Peaky Blinders is fantastic, but I will say, on a rewatch, if you notice, season 1, they didn't have as much money because every single scene in season 1 is either in the bar or in the street. Oh. Like, there's like, or in that, there's like a random room. The season 1, there's literally 3 sets. And when you notice that, it's really hard to enjoy because you're like, oh shit, it's actually the same 3 settings. And like, watch it back. Once we're done, go on to Netflix, go on Peaky Blinders season 1, click a random episode. It'll be on the same 3 sets over and over, and you'll be like, oh my god, yeah. But I think I got really good towards the end. I really enjoyed that. I like Game of Thrones. I thought that was really good. Last season or 2 was a bit meh, but I feel like it's quite easy to look at that.
Never seen it
before. You should do, bro. Really, really good.
Yeah.
Some like fantastic episodes. I'd say for pure writing quality, I think Better Call Saul, season 5.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen the first 2 seasons, I think. The Breaking Bad, I saw it all, but the first Better Call Saul, I think that's only 2 seasons.
The last 2 seasons of Better Call Saul is like, in my opinion, probably the best TV like ever. Like the first 2 to 3 to 4 are a bit slow, but the last 2 are like, it's Breaking Bad times 10, and like just the cinematography is really good. I really like the like Vince Gilligan sort of like work, like Pluribus. I know that's his newest work.
I have it on the Apple TV watch list.
Yeah. I like just how it's shot. It's really, really cool. I really like how he works. So yeah, you can definitely tell I'm probably a bit of a TV geek based off the good stuff, but I'm not somebody who like, you get those people that watch those like 7 out of 10 Netflix series and they just like, oh yeah, watch this. Like I probably only watched like maybe 10 TV series in my entire life, but like they're probably 10 of the best. So yeah, we probably share similarities when it comes to that.
Have you seen the Blackbird on Apple TV with Taron Egerton? No. It's really good. It's like 6 episodes. I highly recommend it. Blackbird. 6 episodes is about a guy gets in prison and he has to like get out some information of the other guy who's in prison. I think he was a pedophile or something like that, and he has to get the info out to get out of the prison. It's really good.
That sounds sick. That sounds cool. Blackbird.
Are you into movies as well?
I'd say so. Yeah. Again, probably IMDb, like probably top 50. I've probably watched them all and stuff like that. Yeah. What would be your favorite movies?
I actually, it's funny. Yesterday I was watching Seven with my girlfriend. Yeah, she hasn't seen any of the good movies, and I was like, "You have to." I showed her the Inception, the Shutter Island, and then the Seven. I probably watched it for like 5th time, and it's still like really good. Like David Fincher is probably like the top, but I would say like it's hard to say what movie I liked. Like all the Tarantino work, probably like Reservoir Dogs is probably like one of my favorite movies of all time. I've seen it like few like 5 or 6 times. Yeah. All the Nolan work, like the Dark Knight, like is obviously like a classic. Like every guy has to see it at least like 3 times, in my opinion. And I also like the Denis Villeneuve, like all the movies he had. He did the newer Blade Runner and some other stuff. Prisoners with Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal, that was also good. Lots of movies. I mostly like to go through directors, not like a specific movie. So like Tarantino, Nolan, Fincher. What would be your like top directors of the movie?
Yeah. No. We share similar sort of thoughts, to be fair. I feel like you mentioned every film there, and I was like, yeah, great film. Like, to be fair, I'm also like, I go off more actors. Like, I got into like the more so like the De Niro and like the Al Pacinos and stuff like that. So like, I watched The Irishman, which have you ever watched that? Came out like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah. So I watched that, and then I literally went through the whole discovery of like, obviously Casino, Heat. That was like came out in like 95.
What is your favorite Scorsese movie?
I wouldn't know. Scorsese, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Scorsese, did you do Goodfellas, or who was that? Was that?
Goodfellas, Casino.
Yeah, I'd probably say Goodfellas.
Island, I think is also.
Yeah, I'd probably say Goodfellas was probably my number one out of that sort of like era. But I think that's just because it's just like, I don't know what it is about. Just like, give me a good film with a good story, cool characters, and then some like talking in the background. That's probably why I like Dexter. Like, you know, if you give somebody who's just like talking like, over the top of clips, I don't know why. Same as like when I watched the one with DiCaprio, 2012, about him being a banker.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's like, in my opinion, that's so similar to like Goodfellas, just a slightly different, like almost setting. But if you actually look at the storyline of how it kind of progresses, it's kind of similar. One's obviously more mafia orientated, one's more about scamming people with money. But like, I don't know, I feel like my film selection list, I can look at like all the films, I'm like, there's a clear correlation. So when you mention those films, I was like, yeah, we're probably quite similar. So if you ever come to
Yeah.
the UK, bro, and you ever like compete, we can just like, let's say, just spend the weekend just watching films and
Yeah.
stuff. We'll probably be like, oh yeah,
I'm
this is
actually, I'm
sick.
actually coming there February 7th for the seminar. And there for
Okay.
like 4 days. Yeah, it's in
Oh,
Derby.
awesome.
I'm not sure like how far is it.
Oh, mate, Derby is literally half an hour away from Loughborough.
Yeah, like yeah, we can definitely meet up there. Like
Yeah,
so
literally,
it's
bro. If you want to get a session with me and Finn, like literally drop us a message. We can get something sorted. Because Derby is like genuinely 30 minutes. Like you can get like a train, you get a bus, like you get an Uber. Like it wouldn't be bad at all.
yeah, we are flying into to Birmingham. Like I don't
Okay.
know if I need to like bring I don't know a knife with me. Is it too safe for tourists in Birmingham? I'm not sure.
Birmingham's a bit, yeah, it's a bit all over the place. But that being said, whereabouts in Poland are you from? Like where are you situated?
Near Katowice is like
Okay.
on the south. Yeah, so it's like
Is it
I'm within like highway, and in 10 minutes I'm in Katowice. So it's like big city.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I think people speak about England in quite a bad way. Like, there's some bad streets, but then there's like that in anywhere. Like, when I was in America, like, there's some places you go down the wrong turn and you're like, great, I'm going to get mugged. Like, I'm going to get shot. Where, like,
Yeah, do not go to Detroit, like Finn said.
yeah, you don't go to the church. They kill each other there. But yeah, I feel like that's like kind of how it is. But in the UK, like, Birmingham's not that bad. It's just there's some slightly rougher parts, but there's rough parts everywhere. Like, there's also really nice parts. Like, there's some okay areas of Birmingham, not many, but there's some. You know, where like if you were to like Derby, for example, I guarantee your impression of Derby would be like, okay, some nice places, some horrendous places. That's just how the UK is. You know, it'd be the same as where you guys are. I guarantee there's some places in Poland that's like lovely, and there's some other places where you're like,
Yeah.
you don't really want to go there.
Yeah, like I was talking to Josh about it because I was in Rotherham like on a solo adventure in
Mm.
24, so that was like quite a journey because
Yeah.
when I was going to the Ultraflex first time,
Mhm.
I was kind of in a wrong neighborhood because the
Yeah, yeah.
GPS was like send me somewhere else, and it was like a scene from Guy Ritchie's movie, like people not really native English, let's say not really native English, but people like kids sitting on the sidewalks before the houses, like
Yeah,
looking at you weirdly. Some guys like looking at like they want to like kill me or something. So I think when you are in that area, like Rotherham, etc., so everything else
yeah,
is safer. Actually, speaking
yeah.
about Guy, do you enjoy the Guy Ritchie's movie? I was gonna mention him as well.
Do I enjoy the what movie?
Guy Ritchie's movie.
Not really. No, I'm a bit. I feel like, yeah, not really. Why? What would you recommend? What would you say?
No, I was yeah. His first films I've watched like for a few times, maybe like Snatch, or
Yeah.
like what's the one with Jason Statham,
Well, let me
something with
see.
smoked barrels. I'm not sure what the
Guy
title was.
Ritchie movies. Let me see.
He's
Um.
doing like movies with Amazon now,
Yeah.
but
No, I wouldn't
they
really say
aren't as
yes.
good.
Yeah. Snatch. I've only seen probably a handful of these, so I wouldn't actually know. So I probably wouldn't want to say yes or no. Actually, I've watched Snatch, and then I think that's probably it. Actually, out of all the list, I probably haven't actually watched them enough. So maybe I need to. Why do you like him?
Yeah, I like the earlier ones, but
Yeah.
the later one, like the ones that he does, actually the Covenant on the Amazon
Mm,
Prime with Jake Gyllenhaal was also good, so I recommend it.
yeah.
But the other, like the something, the Ministry of Welfare, something like that with Henry
Yeah.
Cavill, it was alright, but like not crazy good. And then some other films like I'm not a fan of.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe the doing it like for the stream services like Netflix, Amazon, is maybe ruining the quality a bit. Like I'm not sure if he even had a movie in the cinema. He spoke about this.
Did you hear about it was on Joe Rogan's podcast recently, where I think it was Matt Damon said
Yeah,
that
I've seen it. Yeah,
they have to like do things differently now, where they have to say the plot multiple times because people just on their
yeah.
phones and stuff. And I don't know. Again, it sounds quite cliche to say that like everything's dropped off significantly, but like I think the golden era of movies was like late 90s to like 2012, 13. I think since then, like if I was to look at the quality of movies, like there's been like, to be fair, 2025 actually there was some decent movies that came out, but I feel like probably post COVID to like last year there was like not really any good films. Like maybe like Oppenheimer, but even then, like I'd probably say there's been better work from Nolan. Like I don't really think that movies have like got much better. Like as much as everything else I think has probably got better. I think that's probably one area that I think like maybe 10 to 15 years ago there was just a better quality. across the board, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like with the attention span getting shorter, like they just cannot make good movies. Like the directors, the people who write the movies are still there, but they don't have the money. Like they will have to fund the movies themselves. And since most people cannot like comprehend watching like 2 hours locked in and be focused, like they cannot make those movies because they make movies to make money for people so they can make more movies. And it's like, I feel like when, like you said, the 90s and early 2000s, when there's 1990s movies and you have, you see Morgan Freeman is it, this is probably like very good. You can watch it like blindly and it's going to be great. And yeah, what was you mentioned the 2025 movies. What was the movie that was actually good in 25?
I thought Sinners was good. I thought Marty Supreme was a good watch. Avatar, just because my mum loves Avatar, so if she loves it, I'll love it. So something like that. I thought Fantastic Four was okay for Marvel, which was surprising. I think Marvel have been on its absolute arse since probably like Endgame, Infinity War sort of times. Are you into Marvel films or anything like that?
I've watched like when the Avenger Hub was on, like a few years back, I was like into it, but now there's not so much. I haven't watched the series. I was annoyed when I was going to like, I don't know, was it a Thor movie a few years back? And my friend was like, bro, man, you need
Thor Love and
with
Thunder,
the Loki.
Whatever.
Yeah, I think it was called like that.
So bad. So bad. Probably one of the worst films I've ever watched in my life. Like, I remember we were watching that, me and Sinai, and I literally said every single line is like sarcastic. And it was like it was almost like I was waiting for the actor, Chris. Is it Chris Hemsworth? Or whatever his name is? Yeah. I was waiting for him at the end to almost go, haha, joke, we got you. Like, this is a parody or something, because it felt like the last few Thor films have been like but the last Thor film was like, I'm never watching another Thor film. I don't want to watch like single Marvel films. I'll watch like the Avengers and the big ones, but that's it. Like none other. Like, they're so bad.
Yeah, I think I stopped watching those movies once when my friend was like, you need to watch this series to understand like what the character is about. I think it was, I think there was a guy like more powerful than Thanos, like back at he was in Ant-Man, so it was on, I don't remember, like when Ant-Man got like so small, he was in the quantum realm, something like that. There was a guy, I don't know what his name was, like something like that. And at that point I was like, man, I just don't want to watch those movies anymore.
Yeah. No, that's good. I will say it's a good thing that you're speaking to me about movies and not Finn, because Finn's movie...
Is he not into movies?
Oh, bro, no. Finn's... I'm calling him out here. Finn is the classic, as you said, like, the attention spans. Like, Finn watched Oppenheimer. Finn watched Oppenheimer and Barbie on the same weekend because it came out on the same day. And he literally was like, Barbie's way better. Like, any film that Finn likes, I hate. And any film that I like, Finn hates. It's like we've got the absolute opposite of, like, almost like... the watches we watch, he'll watch like the sort of just easy, like shiny, everything happens, everything's quick and stuff like that. And I'll like watch something that's pretty deep, and Finn will be like, that's shit film. And I'm like, bro, you've got the attention span of like a 12-year-old. Come on, sort it out.
Yeah. I feel like I would probably be glad to watch a movie when there's like no action, they're just talking. Actually, there is, I don't know if, do you like Denzel Washington?
Yeah, Denzel Washington, great actor.
Yeah, there's a movie with him, I think it's called like Fences or something like that. It's about he was a baseball coach or something like that. I'm not sure if you know this movie.
No, I don't off the top of my head, no.
So this is basically a Denzel film when there's like no real action. It's just his relationship with his son, and it's like pretty good movie, especially with Denzel. Like you would think like Denzel is all the action films, like he has to save everyone. But there are some like really good movies, but most people will miss out on them because there is just action. They would probably have to play Subway Surfers playing on the top of the screen to just stay focused on the plot.
Yeah, to be fair, bro, I'm like kind of similar in the sense like I don't like the films, where there's so much action going on, like the John Wicks and stuff. Like, I just don't get on with them. Like, there's too much going on. They're too unrealistic. I like things that are a little bit slower, still some action, but I like where there's like a deep storyline and it makes you think. I think it's partly the reason why, like, something like Sopranos or something, you can always think ahead and think, I wonder what happens. I wonder how this is going to happen. I wonder how this relationship's going to go. And I think, like, that's what kind of gets me going. I really dislike the face value, not a lot that's happening, just cheap storyline, like twists and plot changes and stuff that, I don't know, I don't really, I like when there's a bit more quality and a little bit less maybe in your face, which again, is probably the reason why I'm not really liking modern day TV or film to the same extent, because it's completely switched. Instead of making you think, it tells you and shows you everything, and it's crash bang, look at this action or whatever, and I don't know. It's not really my sort of vibe.
Yeah, I actually enjoy when the movie is like so like deep, like the plot isn't like so simple that if you don't pay attention for 5 minutes and then you don't know what it's about, I actually liked it because you need to stay focused. Like when it's a Nolan movie and you're not sure the timeline is what's actually going on, I think it's good. But movies like, I don't know, Fast and Furious, I think they also have this place. Like let's say you are eating a meal and just want to have something playing on the, like, this is the category of a movie. I feel like this is like B or C tier movies when you can just watch a movie like 10 minutes there, 10 minutes there. But the good movies like Scorsese, Nolan, etc., you just cannot watch it. Like when my mom watches a movie, I recommend to her, and she's like, "Oh, I watched like 30 minutes, and I will continue to tomorrow." I'm like, "You cannot do that because you are destroying the movie."
That's
like,
sin. Yeah, so now I will say the same. Like she'll want to watch a film with me, and like I'll get like 5 films up, and then she'll be like, "Okay, well we can only watch half," and I'm like, "Okay, you can't watch these then. Like you have to watch these in one go, or it doesn't make sense. Like you will forget everything." And like that's just part of like watching a film. Like you have to commit, and if you haven't got time, you can't watch it and stuff like that. So that's funny.
Yeah, I also like how this reoccurring theme in this like conversations I have with on the podcast. Like most of the guys like on the top, like I consider a top level, everything. Like they all share the same traits. Like you enjoy your routine. When you are away, it's not like, oh my god, I have to come back to that routine. Like you love it, and it's like so cool to see because people like want to like tell themselves, oh, I'm into coaching, I enjoy it, but they truly don't. Like if you are on holiday and you are relieved that you are away of your routine, like it's something is wrong. Like your everyday life like should be the one you actually enjoy and not the 1% of their.
Yeah, literally. I'd say I'm also out of curiosity. Is there anyone you've had on the podcast that surprised you where they're like that or anything? Like, is there anyone that you're like, oh, I didn't expect that?
Honestly, no, because like I have a list of guests, like it's like huge. Like if you have a look at it, you will be like, hell no, they are not coming there. But it takes time. But I mostly like invite guys that I actually follow. So it's like sincere. Like in the past, I was doing like some episodes, and I probably shouldn't say it. Like, well, fuck it, I will say it. I wasn't like so interested in the conversation, and I felt bad about it later. And now, like, I'm genuinely interested. I'm curious. Like, for me, it's like, it's still surreal that I'm speaking to you and all the other guys because I've been following you for so many years. So, wait, does it say you're reconnecting?
I think it's okay for me. Yeah, no, it says 99% uploaded. Yeah, I think we're all good, bro. Hello, guys. I don't know if you can hear me. I think it might just be me. I'm going to have to ride the podcast just in case he can't edit this afterwards. I imagine he will be able to. However, this is a little intermission for the podcast. We are an hour and 30 minutes deep. And so far, hopefully everyone, if there is anybody still listening, hopefully you are enjoying this. I'm going to get up Instagram to see if he's messaged me. I imagine he probably has. Here he is. He's back. You know what, bro? Don't worry. Don't even cut that out. I literally just went for a solo intermission. I spoke like it was a radio. I was like, we're having a small technical break. We are back. Once his internet is sorted out, and we are back now. So welcome back to the podcast, bro. I feel like it's now.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. This feels like I'm a guest in the once you're in, so it's cool. Yeah, we are talking about the expectations, I guess. Yeah, like honestly, man, I feel like if anything, like people are like you are talking to you, it's better than I imagined because like you guys are chill, like you are so chill, like you are normal guys, and I really appreciate your time. And it's honestly just because I really, really want to talk to every single guest, and it's like for me, it's like genuine interest. It makes it better. So it's hard to say like do anyone like exceeds or under like I don't know what not sure. Like everything like fits together. And there hasn't been any single guest that I'm like, man, like he's so much nicer, or man, he wasn't that nice. Like everything is like genuine.
Yeah. Oh, bro, is it your internet? Right, so we might have lost him again. It might be me, it might be him. We're not too sure. However, a little bit of an intermission again because Reece is back on his own, I imagine. Hopefully, he is joined back soon. I'm not too sure what's happening. But to continue, is he back? Oh my god, it looks like there's 2 versions of him. Bro, there's 2 versions of you. Oh my god, you've got a double.
Sorry about it. Yeah.
No, all good, bro. All good. Don't worry.
Yeah. When did the connection cut me off?
Just when you said what's happening, So there we go. Your doppelganger's left. You're back
Oh,
to digital.
yeah. So what's happening? No, man, it's just been so awesome to have the opportunity and to talk. So yeah, what was the original question? Because I forgot.
The question was, I remember just asking you about if there's anybody who surprised you, because when obviously me and Finn do the podcast, like, I think we were quite surprised. A lot of people you just vibe and click with. There's some people maybe where the vibe isn't immaculate. It's not where it's like the exact like back and forth. But I think again, the deeper you get into it, the guys that again do well in the fitness industry, I always think have a similar sort of like almost background to how they've kind of, as you said, how they've come up, how they are, and how they interact. Like again, it's the first time I ever spoke. I feel like I spoke to you for years at this point. You know?
Yeah. Like I've actually heard you speaking for years because of watching YouTube, so I'm in a different position there.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think again, it's one of those. I think that's the one cool thing about like being a podcast host, because you'll vibe and you'll click with people and you'll be like, oh, sick, that's a real good opportunity. And likewise, let's say, for example, you come to the UK in a few weeks, definitely message me if we can get some results. It'd be great to train with you. I think that'd be awesome. And then as well, I think that's the one cool thing. As much as we can hate on social media at the start and be like, oh, these kids, but like it does bring people together. Like let's be honest, we wouldn't know each other without social media, but now we do, which is quite cool. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the best part of podcasting, like truly the best, is just being able to connect with so many different people. Like we wouldn't have that even chance to talk, so it's cool. And I feel like because let's say like I don't have any this isn't supposed to sound like depressive or something like that. Like I don't have like any friends in the area, many friends that are like into it, that understand it. Maybe like someone trains, someone is a coach, but they perhaps don't have like that drive that you have, like to actually have like higher goals and do it all. So it's almost like by connecting with like people outside my Poland, like you guys from the UK, when the culture is stronger, it's like it allows me to see that there are people that actually think the same, like they enjoy the routine, they have higher goals. So it's cool to see, because like much of the stuff that you say, or Finn or Jack or any other guest, like I'm like, man, this is like exactly how it is in my mind, but I have not heard anyone like close to me say it. So this is like very good, and it's a cool experience, I must say.
Oh, awesome, man. I know it's been a pleasure. I would say like is where, let's say, bodybuilding in Poland, is it not as popular? Like, are you thinking about maybe moving to the UK one day, or is it just
no?
Do you enjoy where you are?
Yeah, the first part of the question, it's getting popular. Like the WNBF is definitely growing hugely, but I feel like it attracts different audience. Like it attracts younger guys that are like into maybe TikTok or like recording reels, etc. Like I don't really like, let's say, vibe with it. Like I think I'm similar to you when it comes to like energy attitude. Like I'm chill and calm. Like I don't have those like peaks and highs and lows.
Yeah.
I'm just like steady all the way there. Yeah. And I don't really like to be associated with it. Like as much as it sounds weird, but I'm not really into that. I'm not into like, I don't know, like this culture, like drinking Monster every day, like 5 times a day, and just I treat it more seriously, let's say. So we don't have that kind of culture. There are guys that are looking, let's say, to Eurofin or like the UK culture, and are training in the like, let's say, gas oversized clothes. They're like hard training, doing bent over barbell rolls, etc. So there is that part of culture, but it's niche, and the part that is growing is more of a social media side. So I don't really enjoy it, but I would never consider moving to the UK. Like I love the gym so much, but I just don't like the climate, the weather, everything around it. Like I truly enjoy it here. Like people can complain that, oh, this is bad, like the taxes, etc. But I truly like it in Poland. But yeah, the gyms you have, like you guys got us on it. Like I would really like, when I came to Rotherham, I came there just to train at Ultraflex. I saw it in your videos, in Jack's videos, in obviously AJ. So I was like, I need to train at this gym. Like this was my dream. This was mission. I was literally, it sounds weird, when I was going to sleep, in my head, I was already like a few months back before I came, I was doing the entire sessions in my head on what the equipment I would do. Like here we got the prime incline, the prime shoulder, everything. So I was obsessed with it. I'm still am, but I need to just travel. I'm traveling to different countries just to try the gyms like you guys have on an everyday basis. So it's a different level. Maybe one day we'll get there, but obviously I want to have my own gym like US Finn. So it's like I look up to you as a role model, because you are also coaching at high level, also have a gym. So like it's obvious like these guys are clearly doing something right. So it's like even it makes it even more cooler to be able to talk to you because like you are like a few years ahead where I want to be. So it's amazing.
Oh, awesome, man. That's crazy. I still find stuff like that wild to hear because I'm like, just do what I do, but like, it's nice because, again, if I, like, when you put the work in and you hear a comment like that, it obviously means a lot. And I know if you said the same to Finn, which I imagine you did do, Finn would be the same.
Yeah.
Like, when you hear it, you're like, really? Like, you look at us? Because I'm just me and Finn's just Finn. But again, I do appreciate it, mate. So, yeah, like, genuinely, thank you.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I feel like, also when it comes to like the best part of podcasting is just able to I was going to switch to Polish. This is the funny part when I'm talking to you or other guests, like I'm obviously nervous because this is different experience, and even though I can like I have the vocabulary in my head, but when I need to recall it immediately, it's like it's not there. So sometimes I switch into Polish in my mind, so it's hard. I think when I was doing an episode with Matt the Butcher, I think at one point I said a Polish word just randomly out of during the conversation, so it's definitely weird. But yeah, I feel like I'm not sure like what's your take on, because like you are a guest on a non-English person's podcast. Does it feel like how does it feel to talk to a guy, because it's like different perspective for me because still like not a native English speaker? Is it like all right, or is it just kind of awkward?
Oh no, bro, it's absolutely fine. Like, I feel like I have a lot of clients like overseas, and they'll say the same stuff to me. They'll be like, "Oh, bro, let me know like if my English is good," and I'm like, "Bro, your English is fantastic. Like, do you sound fluent in English? Like, let's say for example, do you sound like me? Maybe not, but at the same time, you sound really, really good. Like, I wouldn't be able to tell if you were to live in the UK. I wouldn't be able to tell that, like, for example, you like right now you don't live in the UK. If that makes sense. Like if you were to come to me in the gym, I'd be like, oh, you probably moved to the UK years ago with how good your English is. So yeah, I wouldn't hold yourself back. And also as well, bro, like you speaking to people, you hearing me, hearing all the guys talk with our different sort of dialects, different ways of speaking, pronunciation, stuff like that, you'll learn way, way faster. And I guarantee, like, if you were to probably listen to your first podcast and maybe listen to this one, I guarantee your English is probably already better, And if you were to skip ahead 2 or 3 years, your English will be ridiculous. Like, you probably will be like completely fluent, where you wouldn't even be able to tell that you've got like a slightly different accent or you live in Poland or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like you just have to use it actually, not only speak in your head, because like this is the easier part, and obviously the understanding, like you just have to understand it's easier. But to guys that are listening, it's funny to me that many people when they ask me like what's let's say how can I learn more about bodybuilding, like what I don't know books, podcasts you do recommend or some courses, and I tell it what I truly recommend, and it's all in English. They're like, can you give me something in Polish because I don't speak English? Like you can literally learn in 1 year English to have good enough understanding to learn through through courses, podcasts, everything. So it's like it's still weird that people are too lazy to actually take the time to learn the language that actually unlocks like everything. Like there's so much knowledge available for free, like through your stuff, your Instagram, YouTube, like all the podcasts that is there to just take, but they don't want to learn English because they feel like it's too hard. But the understanding isn't like too hard.
No, exactly. And also as well, from a coaching standpoint, if you only speak your, like, let's say language, again, part of the reason why I think UK is, obviously a lot of us are quite ignorant and stuff, and I wish I could speak multiple languages, but I guarantee you will have some guys that will listen to the podcast, resonate with yourself, apply with you for coaching, maybe not immediately, but maybe in the next couple of years. And if you can only speak Polish or speak some English, that's putting you in such a small window for the people you can work with. And as a result, learn from as well. Like most of the guys, if I was to close my eyes and think of the top, let's say coaches, most of them speak English. Like I don't really know any coaches that don't speak English in some regard, like this. So as a result, again, you want to be learning, you want to be getting into the industry, you probably do have to know English. So obviously it's a testament to yourself. And I guarantee you probably treat it like bodybuilding. You weren't immediately listening to one podcast or doing a course thinking you're going to speak to English perfectly, but you were like, right, give me a year, you'll get better. Nobody goes into the gym and thinks they're going to bench 3 plates aside immediately. It's going to take you a good couple of years. When you get there, it's rewarding. I guarantee you probably treated it the same sort of regard.
There's probably some like Brazilian coaches or like I don't know in Kuwait that do not understand the single word in English. They're probably like also multimillionaire.
Yeah, maybe. But that being said, you're in Kuwait. You probably don't need to learn too much English. Everyone speaks whatever they speak over there, and they're probably just all in the obviously that oxygen gym or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I remember the guys going to Kuwait, like they just come back 40 pounds heavier. Yeah, cool. You know what you're doing.
Would you actually consider going there for let's say like 6 months?
I don't know. I like my routine. I like my gym. I like the. I probably wouldn't. I think if it was like all paid for, or if it was with a coach and everything was like, we'll do this for you, maybe to experience it. But again, I'm quite independent. Like, I don't like anyone making my meals. I like to eat my own foods. I like to do my own shopping. I like to go to my own gym. Like, I'm quite like autistic with my routine in that regard. Like, I struggle to like have like, let's say for example, if it is the full on Kuwait, we will get you to the gym, you have your own trainer, your meals are prepped for you, that sort of stuff. I'd be like, no. And I wouldn't also then go there just to be like train in a different gym. Like, I function my best when I'm just doing the same sort of stuff as I have done for the last couple of years, and then as a result my physique gets better as a result of that, and I also enjoy it. If you said to me I make 5% more progress there but I have 50% less enjoyment, I wouldn't do that. That's not going to be fun for me.
Yeah. Speaking about your own gym, I asked Finn about this. What will be your 3 favorite pieces of equipment there?
Probably the squat press that we've got in now. That came in like
Yeah,
last week in America.
it's such a beauty, man. I saw it.
Yeah, so nice. So yeah, Cybex squat press, Cybex Smith, because that's like the OG Cybex Smith. Nothing's worse than doing a Smith machine that's just poor. Like, that's the one thing that, like, if you're going to use a Smith, it has to be a good Smith. I can't use a shit Smith. I'd rather just do a barbell or some free weights or whatever. And then other machine. I like the Bravo, but I feel like it's such a natural answer. That's such a natty answer. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, I like a Cybex cable machine. Like, just shut up. You're a big enhanced bodybuilder. You're not a fucking natural bodybuilder. What else? Strive shoulder press is cool. Strive preach curl is cool. I go for the Nautilus pull down. You know, the dual arm pull down, but everyone does it single arm. Like, yeah,
the one that you're probably the only person in the world that did the whole stack on it.
Maybe, yeah. I don't think anybody does that. That being said, I've done the stack for like 5 or 6, but they're very buddy. I don't really post it. I still do the stack, but I never post it because it's slightly questionable execution. But yeah, I can do like probably 2 off the stack for a clean set of 10. But I'll get to the stack eventually. Which, to be fair, is a heavy fucking pull down. So doing single arm for the stack, it's not bad.
Like, bilateral is easy, but like single arm is crazy.
Oh yeah. I remember going to Rotherham in like 2020 when like me and Finn were both like, well, Finn's obviously natural still, but we were both natties, and I did like the stack dual arm, and I was like, hell yeah, I'm fucking strong. Like, I'm strong as fuck. Looking back now, I'm like, I really wasn't, but yeah, confidence. Like, going into a gym like Ultraflex Rotherham, having Cuba there, I was like, who am I to think I'm jacked? But I was like, hell yeah, I'm fucking strong as anything.
I feel like this is another one of those things. Like, let's say people see you like training like for so many years and feel like, oh, I have to be an online contract Reece, maybe go enhanced, but then so they don't see the previous steps. And I think it's similar when it comes to your training intensity. Like, you actually can perform like those body sets for a few reps, but most people just cannot. They don't have the amount of control, and they see the end result of you. Like, obviously you can move the weight, and in their eyes they're doing the same. Like, oh, I'm just doing what Reece does, but it looks completely different. What's your reaction to it? Because I think it was Jack that says that, either Jack or Josh on some other podcast, they were like actually talking about the Reece reps, I think.
So I think it's an interesting one because, like, if you were to actually look at my execution across the board, like, I've got a very good control, and I would say as well, like, the reps, like, if you were to see my T-bar rows, which admittedly, to be fair, like, I tore my calf doing T-bar rows earlier in the year, so I've been a bit more sensitive of them, because I was trying to brace through the floor, my fucking left calf went ping, which is not the funnest at times. But, like, if I was to look at, like, my whole back session, I will do, like, 80% of my stuff single arm, really slow, really controlled, and then, like, 3 to 4 sets, like 10 to 20% of the stuff is a little bit lesser, sort of fixated on like clean form. It's just move the weight from point A to point B. But I also think as well, and this is something that I say all the time, like, let's say for example, I think I got sent the same bit of the podcast where they're like, oh, Reece reps or whatever, or mention that. Like, I think a lot of the times, and this is a case of, again, people just see a lot of weight and they think, oh my God, that's bad form or whatever, or that's sloppy. Like, on a Smith machine, you'll never see me do a Smith press and I'm not touching my chest. And just because I managed to do 4.5 or 5 plates, I think people think, what the fuck, that's not 10-second eccentrics. So it's like, no one's doing that. Like, you know, they see a T-bar row and they see 7 or 8 plates. But if I was doing 5 plates, no one would think my form's bad. They would just not even view it. They'd just go, oh yeah, sound. But because it's 7 or 8 plates, they try and find flaws. So again, that's nothing personal against like them or whatever. I think people just naturally will gravitate towards, it's heavy, therefore form. And in reality, it's like, if you actually look at my execution, like, it's not really anything. Like, my leg presses are deeper than anyone's leg presses I know, you know. But people would then look at that and go, his hips move, form, and say, well, no, I'm getting more knee flexion, you know? So I think, again, like, it's one of those. I personally think, again, I trained for 9 years naturally. I've done a lot of heavy sets, and years ago, my execution was diabolical on a lot of movements. If you look at AJ Morris's and fucking Cuba's bent over rows in 2018, 2019 at Rotherham, oh my God, they're some of the worst rows I've ever seen in my life. Like, they're not even bent over, they're stood up, they're doing a shrug. But I feel like you have to have that level of intensity to then channel it into accuracy. Nowadays, you have kids going into the gym, as you said, oversized gaff t-shirts, doing single arm pull downs with immaculate execution. But how can you do a single arm pull down for your lats if you don't really even have any lats? You know, like, it's going to be hard to connect with your lats when there's not a lot of muscle there. So I think just get a good base, train really fucking hard. Me and Finn used to do so many sets with little purpose other than just shifting load from point A to point B, and then channel that into accuracy, and you'll probably grow a good amount of muscle. But if you're looking at me and seeing, let's say, a heavy T-bar set that I do and think, okay, I'm going to do the exact same, you're probably not going to be connecting too well with it, you know? And again, I think that's something you have to learn. But also, I'd much rather somebody go in and just focus on getting really strong and training really hard than being like, okay, I'm going to do a single arm row, then a single arm pull down, then a cable lap finder, then a single arm upper back, whatever. And it's like, just go in and do a lot of heavy rows, a lot of heavy sets, and then you'll probably end up being able to channel it more productively instead of doing the opposite, which I think a lot of people are doing nowadays, unfortunately.
Yeah, speaking about leg presses, you were actually when I was I found a gym nearby, it's like 1 hour drive with cyber squat press and hack. I started to train legs 1 time a week, like several months back. I don't go there anymore because there are lower blocks. But when I first started to do the squat press, before every session, I went onto your profile because you had like this crazy range of motions, like million plates on it, and I was showing to my friends like, oh my God, look how many plates he has. And I was trying, like, in my head when I was doing the set, I was like, I'm Reece now, so I'm trying like letting the heels come off, like the crazy range of motions. Obviously, like I didn't have as many plates as you. I think also the hammer strength leg press. I think one of your videos actually was like few million views on the hammer strength leg press.
The Asian kid behind, just like
yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. The squat press, before I injured my knee, I did like 16 plates or 17 plates per side for like full range of motion, just like fucking yeeting it up and down and stuff, which is quite fun looking back. Like those were good times. And I remember like when I was posting those clips, like I ended up like there was this like Instagram had this like public group chat like feature or whatever. I don't know if they still do it. And I was put into this group chat where people were like kind of calling my form out, and I did a reel about it, and I was like, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, most important thing is knee flexion. Just leg press however the fuck you want. And like, in a way, and again, it's not personal because I think anybody can have their opinions, but like all the people I remember, like I kept receipts in my mind, and I've got bigger legs than all of them by a significant margin, even with a knee injury. And it's like, I think again, like leg training, it's so simple. Like I think people just look at it and think they have to do things perfect. Like look at AJ. AJ's legs are fantastic. He leg presses a lot. He hack squats a fucking load. He does full range of motion. Like I remember seeing some of AJ's hack squats from a few years back, and like there's not much eccentric control. He's just bottoming out, dropping into the hole, and he's hack squatting 6 or 7 plates. Then look at his legs. No surprise. You know, where now it's like, I think people are like, oh, you need a pause, you need this. Like, I pause and do slow eccentrics now just because of my knee. But that wasn't from training. That was from being on holiday. But if I was to look at, let's say, someone who's healthy with like fit joints, have you seen Will Holmes, my client, the 18-year-old?
I don't. I think I might have seen him, but I don't recall the name.
Bro, he pendulum. Have you used the Atlantis pendulum before?
No, I did the Predator, so okay. I'm not sure what the.
Have you used the Cybex hack? He's 18. Yeah. He doesn't do the Cybex hack ever. He did it for one rotation, got 8 plates for a set of 5 or 6 natural.
8 plates per side.
8 plates per side. Yeah, he does on the Atlantis pendulum. He does 9.5 plates. He Smith squats 6.5, 7 plates. He's, like I said, 18 natty. And if you were to look at his execution, you'd probably be like, "Oh, he's dropping really quickly into the hole." He's 225 pounds lean as a teenager, natural. And he's like, he deadlifts 7 plates for reps. Like he did a 310 kilo deadlift for a double at my meetup at 18. Like you need to see this guy, bro. Like it's cool. It's like he's like Keefe. He's Keefe, but younger, and he'll be stronger than him. Like in a few years, he already is stronger than him on a lot of things.
Like where do you go from there? Like if you're that strong at this age, is there like a cap? Just reach it quickly, or is there more room? It's crazy.
Yeah, literally, it's funny because the first time, so I've coached him since he was 16, And the first time he ever deadlifted properly was with me. And like first week, because I put deadlifts in his plan. And he got 4 plates for 10 at 16, so 180 for 10. And he sent it to me, and I was like, okay, yeah, sound bro. Go, it looked easy. Go like 190, go 200 next week. And he did. And I was like, go 220. And he did like a 5-plate deadlift at 16 for reps. And I remember being 16, deadlifting, and being like, nowhere near as strong as that. And he's just like, what do you reckon to this, bro? Is it all right? I was like, yeah, man, it's all right. And like the thing is with him, he just doesn't slow down progression. Like you was where do you go from there? He just gets stronger. Like it doesn't make sense. He'll do something that's just stupid, and then the next week he's doing even more. And I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, sound bro, sick. So yeah.
Actually, speaking about leg training, how do you approach the training when it comes to like the injury, and how did you actually come back from it?
So it was a lot of like just unnecessary bullshit, just pain, like injections, scans. So I couldn't really do much for the first like 6 months, and then it wasn't really until probably like midway through last year that I managed to actually string together like some leg training, because in like March, April, I'd do like 2 to 3 sessions, and then the knee would just inflame, and I was like, okay, cool, I can't walk, I can't do anything. So I was like just constant stop and start, seeing what I can do, seeing what I can recover from. But now, to be fair, my strength, if my legs are in a straight line, it's sound. I don't really see much issue. Like I'm probably as strong as I used to be. I just have to be a bit more mindful. So I do more pyramid sets. I do more like higher reps into heavier sets. So like on a leg extension, I'll do like a set of 20, then a set of 15, then a set of 10. On leg presses, I'll usually do my back off set first. So on that squat press, I did 8 plates first set for like a set of like 25, pause, and then did 10 plates. So like I usually will just kind of go heavier and gauge at how it feels. But I just have to be a bit more mindful. Like I can't do the same sort of stuff I used to do, in the sense of like just like I can't really do like squat variants. I never really was able to do them even before my knee injury, to be fair, that well. But like that definitely like I can't really do. So I'm more situated on like leg presses and stuff. But I'd say everything else, like it's not that bad now, but it has been like a year and a half. Like it's been a good amount of time since I injured it. But it's just being a bit more mindful. Like on push or pull, I feel like I could go into the gym now and just do like a stupidly heavy pressing set without really much warm up sets, and I'll be okay. Where like my leg training, I like have to be a bit more like, okay, how does my knee feel? Am I pyramiding up? And I can't just like, jump on a machine and just go straight to the stack. Like I'm like, no, I have to do like 3 pins, 6 pins, 10 pins, etc. So yeah.
Can you do the gym leg hack, or does it bother your knees?
I can, but I can only do it really at the end of the session. I think again, it's probably partly just down to like my strength still being there, and I almost like if I was to go like, let's say for example, if I was to like put knee wraps on and just like do 2 scoops of pre, do some smelling salts, slap myself before some sets, listen to some songs that make me like questionably like suicidal in my head, I could probably go in and do like 6, 7 plates, but then I would not be able to walk for the next like week. But so like my strength is there, but like I just have to be mindful. So I just do that stuff at the end. Like I did a set of like 2 plates per side on the gym Leco hack for I think 30 reps. It was like 4 minutes long with a pause. And like I just do that at the end of the session. So I can still do them. I just have to be very mindful of load, do it right at the end, limit load, and just do high rep sets. And I then again I can do that and I don't really get any discomfort. But I know if I start to like push myself like properly again, like my legs might make again 5% more progress, but then I also wouldn't be able to train legs in 3 or 4 days afterwards. And I'm training legs twice a week right now, which wouldn't be doable.
What pieces of equipment are you on like a dream list when it comes to leg training? Because you already have like the squat press, the gym leg stuff, and what's next? Like better leg extension and leg curl?
I'd say so, yeah. I'd like to have like the Strive lying ham, seated ham, either one, probably the lying, I'd say. I'd like a Strive leg extension. We have the Cybex VR 1, 2 leg extension, I don't know which one it is. And then we also have a Nautilus Nitro leg extension, which is all right. But yeah, I'd like to say potentially like Strive alternatives of those isolations wouldn't be a bad shout. I don't really like the Prime. Have you used the Prime leg extension?
Yeah, I use both Primes and Strive. I like the Strive better. Especially the leg curl.
Strive, yeah. Like I don't mind the Prime pin loaded stuff's cool, but I really don't like the Prime plate loaded like leg isolations. I just don't really think they're that good. So yeah, maybe slightly better leg extension hand curls. But then I also think as well, like from a gym standpoint, like that's me being very like geeky and completionist, sort of like trying to get platinum trophy in real life in a gym, like trying to get all the achievements, when in reality, like a leg extension is a leg extension. Like, I don't think, unless it's a shit leg extension, I don't think the difference between a Life Fitness leg extension or a Cybex leg extension, a Prime or Strive one, is going to correlate to massive better, like loads better quads. When like, if you have access to a squat press and a Gym Leco hack and Gym Leco leg press and hip press and stuff like that, you're probably going to make more progress, you know, compared to if you were to use, I don't know, just let's say a Watson or a Techno Gym leg press or hack or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like most of the leg extension machines we have here are like so shit that the range is in there, like you are cut in half. Like you can do like, let's say 90 degrees angle for knee flexion and you cannot go deeper. And like the Prime, I feel like the stack version of Prime is kind of weird. It needs to be bolted down because it's so shaky. When you put on the whole stack, it feels weird. But like the Cybex Eagle and Prime and Stripe are probably like the best I've did. But what don't you like about the plate or the isolation on Prime?
I just think they feel almost a bit too like they're not that smooth. They don't really just like grab the muscle. They almost just like end up just irritating like my joints. I think like the only time I've ever used the leg extension and thought it was okay was towards the end of the session. I've just put all the plates on the top peg and there's just a decent drop off and there's a good amount of load in the length end. But I don't know. I think Prime is like the most overrated equipment ever for the plate loaded stuff. I think the presses are horrendous. I think the leg isolations are average at best. I think the pull stuff is good. The pull down, the row, sounds solid. But like, if you were to honestly like, if I was to rank every Prime bit of kit, I think there's better alternatives, and I think Strive is better consistently across the board for the isolation stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just not really a massive fan.
Yeah, I feel like for the Prime stuff, the seated row, the extreme low, and the pull downs are like top notch. But the other stuff, the Strive. Have you done the flex levers like actually?
Yeah. I really like the flex stuff.
Yeah, it's probably my favorite. All the Star Trek, even the newer version, are like also good.
Yeah, I used a flex seated hamstring curl, and the only thing I would say is it felt a bit awkward to get into, but the connection was great. Like, it just felt like it was a machine not built for someone that big, which is funny because most of the flex stuff is like obviously for big like American dudes. But I think like personally, I'd say like the top couple hamstring curls and leg extensions, I'd probably say, like I said, they're all fairly similar. I like to Gym 80. There's a Gym 80 seated hamstring curl that I think is really nice. Yeah. And I'm not a massive fan of Gym 80 stuff. But yeah, I think like Cybex Life Fitness, you really can't go wrong for those like leg isolations. And then like away from that, for like the leg compounds, I think like the Gym Leco stuff's really, really solid. Obviously, Cybex squat press, people love the Cybex hack. I think the Cybex hack's really good, but I think it's very much like nostalgia driven because everyone sees like AJ, Cuba, everyone's seen everyone like it. The Cybex hack is like the testament of how much of a man you are. You know, like how much plays you can put on that kind of directly correlates to how much of a man you are. So I think people love that. But yeah, I just think again like Prime, not really a massive fan. Nautilus, I think, for isolation. The Nautilus Nitro stuff's like, in my opinion, like some of the best pin loads and stuff for just simplicity. But I think again, like you can't really go wrong with just like Cybex, Life Fitness, and some of like the old school pieces of kit. Have you used any of like have you had like new tech and stuff like that? Have you used any of that stuff before?
When I was in Blackout, I don't know if you know the Blackout gym in Lisbon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had some. It was new tech, but under a different name, like from the same factory. So I did I think 2 row variations or pull down. I enjoyed it. I think there's a gym in Hungary that's purely new tech, so I might try it. Did you do it? When you were in the USA?
Yeah, so I used it before. I used it when I was in Vegas in 23, and then last year when I was like all over America. And the only reason I say that is I would love to be on. Actually, no, this is the podcast I'd love to be on. I wouldn't love to be on Jay Cutler's podcast. I was listening to Jay Cutler's podcast. And
I'm listening to it today.
I've got an invite afterwards. I'm going to check that. I was listening to Jay Cutler's podcast, and he was saying like, "Oh, we'd be so much bigger back in the day if we had new tech equipment." And granted, I think all his kit has been given to him by new tech, so he obviously probably has to say that. But when I used it, I was more so like, this doesn't feel that good. Like, it doesn't feel bad. The rows are actually okay. The presses were pretty shit. The leg stuff I didn't think was that good. I think like consistently, like you said, like flex stuff's really good. In the UK, that's really hard to find. And then, like I said, just Cybex and like Life Fitness. Like when me and Finn were setting up the gym, we had just a rough idea of like what we wanted. But the only newer stuff we've got is Gym Leco, just because it's really simple. Like I think it's really smooth. But like funnily enough, we had people come to the gym the other day who are actually getting like a full Gym Leco gym. Like they're basically just buying all of it from Gym Leco. And I was kind of saying to them, like, from a bodybuilding sense, there's only like 6 or 7 machines that I think are really good, and we have like 5 of them. But I think Gym Leco is like some is good, some is pretty shit. Like some of the back kit for Gym Leco is pretty average. I don't know again if you've used it or anything.
Yeah, I've traveled to different gyms because I'm also like I'm really passionate about equipment. We don't have that here, so I just have to travel to different gyms. But yeah, I feel like from the gym like stuff, like the white chest press is really good. The T-bar, I'm constantly missing on it. Like I was in so many different gyms, and they had the T-bar after I left. Even in Rotterdam when I was there, there wasn't there. The Atlantis T-bar I actually enjoy. It's like it's weird positioning, kind of like you are riding a motorcycle, but I liked it.
Yeah.
But I still want to do the gym like T-bar. The hack is incredible. I really enjoyed it. The hip press as well. So they have a lot of good stuff. But like all the other stuff, even cable or some like stacked versions, I'm not a fan of.
The Smiths, yeah, they're not good at all. And the leg extension, they have that Ultraflex Derby, so if you train there, the leg extension is super good. Like that's really, I actually completely forgot about that. That is like incredibly deep. Some of the best range of motion you'll get on a leg extension, like ever. Like really, really good. But that's like it. Like we have the chest press, which is basically the flex leverage, very similar. It's really heavy in the stretch, which is quite nice. We have the hip press, the hack, the leg press, the 45-degree leg press, and the pendulum. And other than that, like I think maybe the leg extension I'd have from Gym Leco, but I don't really like anything else. Like as you said, the cables are pretty poor. All the rows seem to like diverge. So like you've got a lat focus row that comes out. It's like, yeah, sick, bro. That makes so much sense. Not at all. So yeah, I think again, like to be fair as well, the preach curl for Gym Leco is really good. But we have the Strive preach curl. So obviously with
I think the Strive is the best of them all. I think.
Yeah.
It's just so good and so smooth.
Yeah, I agree. When that came up, like there was a few pieces that were like, if it comes up, which we're gonna get, and that came up for like 3,000, and we were like, yes, get that 100%. Like that was like non-negotiable. I think it's the same as like the Cybex Bravo. Like the pieces we have in our like gym, like it's obviously not the biggest gym, but we didn't want to be upgrading. Like I don't want to see a bit of kit and think like, as you said, like what do you want in the future? Like if you have a preach curl and you eventually want to get a Strive, just get the Strive if it comes up. Like I don't really want to have a bit of kit where you then have to progress to another piece of kit. Like ideally get the best bit of kit that you can have, and then you don't need to upgrade, and then you can just keep adding to your gym.
Do you look at like on I don't know, like Facebook Marketplace or some other pages constantly to say maybe there's an opportunity there?
I'm always looking. Yeah, that was like when we were setting up the gym. That was like my role. Like I was like the kit sourcer. So I had Jakub, so Jakub owns Be Modified. He's another fellow Polish dude. So Be Modified is a fantastic gym, and I was speaking to him about like some context stuff like that, like where he got his stuff from. And then I looked through similar places, and then I found an ad off Gumtree. Are you aware of Gumtree? It's like Facebook Marketplaces. I don't know if it's worldwide. Yeah, Gumtree is fairly similar. It's basically Facebook Marketplace. Like it's like eBay, but for like slightly different pieces of like stuff. And then that's how we got the Nautilus stuff initially. That came from Czech Republic. And then away from that, it was like knowing the right sort of people, Facebook Marketplace, knowing a few gym owners, being in a few group chats. And then we just like slowly started to add kit. Because if you want to like copy what we did in our gym, like it's very hard. Like you would search up like Nautilus Nitro, like you're either spending so much money or you're not getting it at all, or you're getting like cheap knockoff versions of it where like all our kits like hand selected and all have been like imported and stuff. Like I said, the 5 pieces from Gym Leco are the only bits that we brought that are like brand new. Everything else is like we know somebody who knows somebody who's selling something, and we're like, we'll have it. So yeah.
Was the Nitro was what part of the pieces were you think was stolen? You were talking about the story of.
Yeah, bro, you're a super fan. You know everything.
Yeah, I know everything.
Literally, that was the Cybex VR2 row. 100%, something was dodgy. Oh, it was so bad, man. Like it was so bad. Like everything about that deal just seemed like it had been stolen, and we got it for like a really cheap price as well. Like if we were to sell it now, we'd probably be able to sell it for like £1,000, probably more. So it was just, dodgy as fuck. But we wanted the VR2 Road because I don't know if you've used the VR1. The VR1 is so light in comparison. And the VR3, the Eagle Row, is nice, but it kind of, again, diverges. So you can only really use it as like a lat-focused single arm. You can't really dual arm unless you kind of want it to like come away from you. So the VR2 was like, for a pin-loaded row, that and the Strive, like low row, in my opinion, like the 2 best pin-loaded rows. So, when that came up, we were like, hell yeah. But we don't care if it's stolen.
I remember the story because Finn was talking about driving the van and how you like missed a highway exit or something like that because there was too much stuff, so he couldn't brake. I think I've seen. Was it the Christmas special episode where we were discussing it?
Can't
Maybe.
Yeah,
Like
I
24
remember.
Christmas episode.
Yeah, there's definitely an element where like I remember that turn off. I ended up getting back at like 12:30 at night. Finn got back at like 1 a.m. Like that missing turn like added like half an hour onto our journey, so we had to go forward to go back. But like Finn was like, "Oh no, it's left here. I can't turn." And I was like, "Why not?" He's like, "The van will flip." And I was like, "Okay, cool, carry on." Because like, especially when you're not used to driving a van that big, like yeah, some of those moments are just like so funny. Like funnily enough, I don't know if Finn spoke about it on the podcast you did when we got the last bit of kit. Like we literally went and got some treadmills from another gym. We were on the way back and we got stuck in ice, and then we ended up having to like get loads of people to help us out because we were stuck on ice and grass on this van. So every time me and Finn get in a van, we end up something goes wrong. Like we were fully like beached, we could not get off this like bit of ice. So we went to a garage that was across the road, and we had like cat litter. You know, like cat litter. So like you know cat litter. Like, do you know what that is?
No.
So cats, like when they go to the toilet, you have like the bucket and they have like whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know I wouldn't know what you guys would call it.
To get more traction, no?
Yeah. So we had that. We put that all around the wheels. We had some like cardboard that we put under the wheels. We had like 3 dudes pushing the van and then a dude like pulling the van the other way with like attached to his car. And we were just like, how the fuck do we always get into drama? Like we always seem, no matter when we have a van to get the gym, we always seem to run into something that goes wrong. But that's part of it. That's the fun part.
I think those kind of stories are like the best part. Like when you will be probably older, you'll be like, yeah, remember the time when we almost like died or like trying to exit the highway? Like this is cool.
Yeah, literally. But I think that's part of it. Like I feel like I say to Finn all the time. I say to people when they ask us about like setting up the gym, and it's a lot of work. But like you look back at those sort of stories, and you're like, fuck you now. Do you remember when this happened? Do you remember that happened? And like that's what it's all about. Like I remember once we spoke about this on the podcast. To be fair, we set off at 6 a.m. and we got back at like 10:30, like in the evening. So it was like a whole like however long, like 14, 15 hours. 16 hours of being on the road, like picking up different bits of kit. Like we basically did like a whole bottom end of the UK. And then we got back and we only had Bean, so my cat, for probably a few months. And she got into the mezzanine, so like the upstairs of the gym, there was like a little hole in the floor where she climbed in, and was running around like the upstairs, but she was underneath the floor, and we couldn't get her out. So we were like, we've been on the road for 15, 16 hours. We're unloading all this kit, and Sanaya's like freaking out because we can't get our cat out, and she's just stuck in the mezzanine upstairs. And like she kept popping her head through this hole, and then like running away, and we were just like, great. Cool. So we had to try and grab her head and pull her out. So those little things, like it's funny because to like other people that probably doesn't mean a lot, but we were just like after being on the road all day and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, crazy.
It sounds weird, but to me, like this is the best part of it. Like hearing you say those stories, like the gym itself is cool. Like I want to do it, but like all the stories about, I think the bring the equipment part's probably like the best of it.
Yeah.
Like because this is the most exciting. Like getting the first kit. What was the first piece you got?
It was the Nautilus.
Was it actually the Nautilus and that Finn didn't know about?
Yeah, literally. It was the Nautilus stuff that Finn didn't have any idea about, and then he was like, I'll just do it with you. And then I think from that point, that was I think 13 or 14 pieces. And then we like kind of built from that. And then I think the first piece that we got after that, I'm trying to think off the top of my head what it would have been. I'm trying to think what we added to the containers. It probably, I remember that Strive Preacher Girl popped up a few weeks after, but I think we got a few pieces before. But that was like the base. So that Nautilus package, that basically had like, I think it had leg extension. Funnily enough, I think it had 2 leg extensions. We got an extra leg extension that I was like, oh, okay, I solved that. But I remember that was weird. It had like it had 2 leg extensions, seated ham, which is awful. That's the one with the pad on the knee. So we solved that as well. Yeah, the awful bit of kit. Lying ham had the shoulder press, the pull down, the adductor, the pin loaded leg press. I'm trying to think of those. The fly. Did it have the fly? No, it didn't have the fly. It had like the base of what the Nautilus Nitro range had, like with some of the good bits, some of the shitter bits, and then we sold the shitter bits, and then we kept the good bits, like the ab crunch as well. We kept that, and then like that was like kind of our base to build off, and then it was like we kind of just went from that. So it was like, right, we need a fly. I like the Nautilus Nitro fly, so we found that. That actually came from Poland, funnily enough. Jakub, the Be Modified owner.
Nice.
Yeah, he literally got that.
Does he speak Polish, actually?
Pardon, sorry?
Not? Does Jacob speak Polish?
Yeah. Wait, like he sounds probably more like foreign than you, and he's been in the country for like 10 years.
Yeah. Like obviously like he has a Polish name, but when he speaks, he sounds like he was born there.
Yeah, no, I'd definitely say, bro, if you're gonna get anybody on the podcast, he'd be a great person.
Yeah, I want to get him on. Like, there's a list, and there's like the other. But I've been following the Be Modified for a long time. Obviously, I've seen it in your videos first time, but I've been really enjoying the growth of it, like how he gets better equipment. And I think you mentioned on summer, I think it was either you or Josh, when they were talking about like best gyms in the UK, they've actually like acknowledged that the Be Modified is probably getting the most improvement like year after year.
No, definitely. Yeah, I'd have Be Modified as like one of the best gyms, definitely, and like more so because it's like by a bodybuilder for bodybuilders. Like, there's not many gyms that have that sort of like, I don't know, when you go in there, you're just like, yeah, cool. Like, I was traveling before I had my gym. I was traveling for an hour a day to go there just because I wanted to train there, and it was like the vibe, the people that train there, like the fact that Jakub put so much back into the gym. Yeah, I think I definitely like that's a gym that like inspired us heavily, and as well, like just in general, like how it is. Like it's in Derby. Like where are you doing the? You said you're doing that. What was it that you're doing in Derby again?
Yeah, the seminar is in Derby.
Yeah, whereabouts in Derby? Is it in a gym?
It's not. It's like 5 minutes away from the Ultraflex Derby. I'm not sure where it is.
Okay, well, Be Modified.
This is just like a quick trip.
Okay, well, like if like Ultraflex Derby's here and Be Modified's like here, it's like 5 to 10 minutes away.
Yeah.
So I'd definitely say like Be Modified. If you're in the area and you're here for like a few days, I'd say Ultraflex Derby, Be Modified, and then come to our gym so we can train.
Yeah, that would be cool. Like, what time are you opening on Saturday?
8 a.m. But I can open up early if you want. If you're training up early, I can always get there early.
Yeah, because the seminar is I think like 10 a.m. ish, so we would need to train either before that or after. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be up after, because like I wake up at real times. Like I wake up at like 3 a.m. So by 6 p.m. I'm like trashed down for the day.
Oh really? You got up that early? How come? Is that just your routine?
I've started to wake up earlier doing prep, and then it's funny because I was like, yeah, it's cool because I was having like classes in hospital or in my university year. Like I finished those classes already. So before I had 4 weeks before first competition and second, and I had classes at like in hospital 8 a.m. I knew if I came back from those classes, I wasn't able to train. So I just got up at like 3, train before the hospital classes, eat, and then go to classes. And then I was like, yeah, after the prep is done, I will wake up later. And now I actually started to enjoy that because I drive to the gym, it's empty. The roads are empty. Like I have all like if I would do this later, like I'm staying in traffic, like you're not getting the work done. And I was home, like I like to wake up earlier. And now I'm I kind of trapped. Like we mentioned, like staying productive and routine. Now I feel like if I woke up at like say 4, I'm already behind 1 hour. It's like it's hard to explain to people. I want to wake up later, but it's hard. Like I feel not trapped. Because I enjoy it. Like don't get me wrong, truly, but it's definitely a weird feeling.
No, it makes sense, bro. I think that's perfect. Like you function your best there. Who am I to say? And likewise, everyone has the same amount of time, but I get it completely. Like when I open up the gym, I'm up at like 5:30, and I feel as like productive as ever. And like the one thing I actually really enjoy about prep is because I get that like super focused routine. And like in the off season, I'm very similar, but like I will allow myself to be a little bit more relaxed in the evenings or whatever with timings and stuff. And like after a certain period of time, I just feel that's like lazy. I'm like, I want to get up, I want to get on top of my stuff. And like when I was in prep, like on my high days, I'd wake up at like 3:45, 4 a.m. because I'd have to get that much food in. And like I'd wake up at like 4 a.m. and I'd be like, hell yeah, let's fucking get on. Let's get on with check-ins, let's get on with work. And then by like 7, 8 a.m., you're like, cool. I've done 4 hours of work and people are just waking up. And it's like it's like an ego complex. Everyone else is kind of like getting started and you're like, I'm already getting close to being done. And again, then you can train. And I think especially when you're a coach and an athlete, there's nothing better than training, knowing you've done your work or done most of it. There's nothing worse than getting to the gym and you're like, oh, I've got 12 check-ins to do later. And then also when you're training, you're distracted. You get messages come through where if you've done everything you need, cool, it's your time. And then in the evenings, like, let's be honest, I always say to my clients, like, what are you doing that's productive at like 11 p.m., like midnight? Like, Nothing. You're just going to sit there watching TV, scrolling through TikTok. Go to bed, get up earlier, and you'll feel way better.
Yeah, and now my clients know that when they message me like at 7 p.m., I'm gonna go back to them at like 3 a.m. And sometimes it's weird. I had a guy who thought I was I don't know partying or something like that. That he thought I hadn't gone to sleep yet. But I was like, dude, like we are texting right now, but you are in the day before. Like it's weird.
Yeah, like, I've already slept, bro. Stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's crazy. No, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I will be honest, bro. I think I might have to shoot because my girlfriend.
I was just
she
gonna
just messaged me saying she needs to leave the gym. She literally put, I can stay till 15:15, and it's 21 past. I might get in trouble because I said I'd be in the gym for 12.
Yeah.
So she did the morning this morning. But if there's any other questions, feel free. Obviously, I don't want to.
No, we gonna like. I really enjoy talking to you, especially probably most people will be like, what are you talking about? This is in bodybuilding. It's like some movies, like shows, but I really enjoy talking to you. And if it's possible, like to meet up in Derby, like I'll be more than down to it.
No, that'd be awesome, bro. I'll if you don't mind, let me just get a pic. I'll tag a photo in the story.
Yeah, I will take a pic as well.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Wait, let me take this as well.
Ah, sick.
Yeah, thank you so much. This episode will go live in like 3 weeks, I think. 3 or 4 weeks. Like I have to record ahead to keep the schedule on, so I'll let you know. And if there's a specific picture you want from the thumbnail, just DM me on it.
I don't care. Just choose one that you think that's alright. I'm easy.
All right, I will choose one, and I will send it to you, and we'll stay in touch.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for doing it again.
No, I appreciate it. As you said, like I think there's certain